pagamos hasta $1,000 en nuestros mejores teléfonos 5G, solo en Verizon.
We're Lower Deck. No one ever tells us what's going on.
Star Trek Lower Deck Season 1.
This is gonna be awesome.
Yo sigo siendo el mismo, yo no he cambiado. Tengo lo mío sin tener que aparentar, siempre ando con lo mismo. Arrebatado, ahora siempre el botón, pero nunca voy a cambiar. A mí me gusta la coche, 25 charlas y no te coche. Humilde pero nunca me voy a dejar. Está caliente pero no me voy a dejar. Hoy salimos para el coche, nunca encima hay manera que yo falle. Seguimos haciendo y no vamos a bajar. Nosotros estamos en PR, malenteo, bellaqueo, colonial. Yo sigo siendo el mismo, cambio mi reflejo. Nuevo pero me hacen que uno de los viejos. Humilde pero no me dejo, ey. Leal pero no pendejo. Y no pendejo en mi contra que te va a embrollar. Compré la Tokio, puse las de collar. La 11 en blanca, en su royal. La baby me pide que no me la quite pa' follar. Y le doy toda la noche sin quitarme los tenis. Cotizado ya yo no sé lo que es un tenis. Trajo un tacto nuevo, que la odianda como Bernie. Moña verde fluorescente, parecen bolas de tenis. Y de libre en libra. No es que sean antisociales, que ustedes de mala vibra. Yo sé que verme bien los desequilibra. Pero normal, pero normal, pero normal. Sin ir a playoff gano la final. Tú me toques y no te vuelves a refinar. La guitarra te la voy a desafinar. En RD me dice mi loco, tú eres el final. Y en PR está muy cabrón, soy un hijo de puta. Yo soy el mejor en esto, no disputa. Aquí cualquier ritmo siempre se ejecuta. El blanquito poco que estudia va no gusta. Pero me gusta la coche. Me pide charlar y no te guste. Humilde pero nunca me voy a dejar. Caliente pero no me voy a dejar. Hoy salimos para la calle. Lucrados y no hay manera que yo falle. Seguimos adelante y no vamos a bajar. Siempre estamos para malenteo, bellaqueo, colonial. No me ronques de puta, yo también tengo un montón. Dicen que no se calla, que no salga del portón. Pero esta perra que cualquiera del portón. Welcome to the calentón. Si me la compro, pues no me soporto. El que lo puso tiene color y pantalón y corto. No sé, no se brilla sólido. Como el gobierno que todavía tiene la casa con saldo. Nunca seguí. No, que sigue la pista, que sigue la pista. Nunca seguí, yo siempre he sido un líder. Que te bendiga sin capo, con eso no se vive. Pero ahora estamos facturando como Willy Silver. Mi pecho siempre ha sido como Boca River. Nunca seguí, yo siempre he sido un líder. Que te bendiga sin capo, con eso no se vive. Okay. Hoy sacamos la Lambo de la marquesina. Ustedes la tienen en Miami, yo la tengo en Carolina. Le meto toda la náutica, yo como Pina. Y yo ando chingando, me encanta la adrenalina. Yo tengo mucho chavo, por eso estoy chilindrina. Los que nunca me debo ver como John Cena. Recuerda los bichos que no se paran en la esquina. Soy como bobina, soy como cuando hay neblina. Cabrón, yo soy la hostia, me meto una mina. Se encontraron matando lo que hice en la cabina.
Look, this that shit that made me ball out on my old bitch, ooh. Yeah, I'm chosen, I ain't felt this since COVID, ooh. Can't control it, I got lit and now I'm zoning, ayy. This my moment, I don't trust a hoe, I'm boning. Maury Povich, I made a change, I had to be different, I hate when I'm stuck on the edge. I ain't got time to argue with niggas, I'd rather get money instead. Word of my folks, we used to be close, and now I'm just stuck in my head. I wanted a rose, but I like the ghost, if I'm making love to the dead. Love to the dead. I gotta step to the podium. I run this shit like Napoleon. My niggas smoking petroleum. Back when a nigga had no DMs, I had to clean with the other custodians. Nobody fuck with me, nobody noticed them. Now that nigga, they salty and sodium. Picture the bomb, I lit the plutonium. Feet on the ground, I'm breaking linoleum. This is revenge, and all of you owe me when shorty my bitch. But she ain't the only one, yeah, I'm a god. I know I'm the only one. I do not smoke, but you gotta roll me when you gotta roll me when she got a twin. And I need the both of them. The streets can't hold me. We ain't not friends, so please don't blow me. Bitch, come blow me. Pull up my mama, R.B. Kobe, that's my OG. Still no Grammy, but I got trophies, and I went OT. Text me low key, water emoji, feeling myself. Like, look what I built, like, look at my wealth. I did what I felt, I bet on myself, reinvented myself. With a plex I got, won't fit on my shelf. I'm sick of myself, jumped out of my skin, hopped into my shell. I'm feeling quite well, you ain't been in my prison, won't fit in my cell, won't fit in my pants, don't look at my belt. I mean what I say, and I say what I meant, my nigga. Stand on that. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, my nigga. Stand on that. I built my own empire to get on my kids, my nigga. Stand on that. Try to do everything with them that I never did, my nigga. Stand on that. I went through the storm, but I made a way, so I'll be alright. Stand on that. If you never cross me, you did me wrong, I got you for life. Stand on that. I built a team of sharks, and all of them niggas are bites. Stand on that. If you got an enemy, I got an enemy. Get them on sight.
Play with my feelings and you gon' catch feelings. Yo, people gon' feel it. I ran with the villains, was willing and dealing. I'm worth a few million, I'm chasing the billion. I'm up like the ceiling, I'm really a real. A bachelor of beats from the soil. You can get popped like a boil. Bitch, boy, you gon' leak like some oil. Walk up on me and I'm dumping. As long as I can see it coming, it's on. If I run out of ammo, I'm running. I'm going even though I'm an animal. Long as I done made it. I got a family defeated. I'm grown and good Lord, baby, stone highly favored and chosen. My heart made a stone. I guess you can say frozen, so leave me alone. I'm unbroken, I've spoken. I stand by my word 'cause it's golden. I'm here in the Pacific Ocean, West Coast. Don't let a hoe make us enemies. We family just like the Genovese. Stick to the script, we don't do sucker shit and we deep like a herd of them wildebeest. Trademarks and entities, no, I ain't selling click like I push dope, but I really push hope. Dress like a boss, but I rap like I'm broke. You offer parole to make sure that you vote. My ninja, you're not alone. My post for the grab with my money phone. Turn my bands to a fan like I'm hella young. Take a picture with money all down my arm. Just to show me the same as though I'm reformed. Them is yellow like kettle corn. I never drive it, but trust me, I got a form. Politics and democracy, let's put our money together by property. I came in the game with a prayer and a wish and a dream. I stand on that. Vow to take care of my kids and my family and queen. Stand on that. This game it don't spit and it's over their head like a drum. Stand on that. If we rockin', we rockin'. I rock what you ride or you run. Stand on that. Mr. Researchers on thorough ones gotta stay solid and still. I stand on that. Don't be an imposter, a fraud, a fake, or a counterfeit. I stand on that. Some of my dudes got jobs and some of them still narcotics. I stand on that. I'm an entrepreneur. I develop my own product. King of the savage, your music original. Pull my pharmacist, be back, I'm medicinal. Lay down the law and I'm standing on principles. Consequences come with it, make it intentional. All of your visual, hard to ignore me. I grew up on game, but you shooting the 40. You shoot full of G and you about to be 40. Still run up on me, we'll be popping these 40s. We not going forward. I know you can't see the dream for the forest. Let's see your lure. Money and horse, take you to a place where your ass will get torn. Okay, now you've been warned. Only one more gesture before we move. I pray to the Lord that you can afford. What it gonna cost you for you to move forward in life? Facing the working scenario without a plan of
There we
days.
are. We're back. We're back.
Get ahead, do it that day.
Here,
What's up, bro? Here I am, man. Show me right now. Show some of you. There we go. All right, guys. So we are live on a Thursday evening. What's going on? This is GMAC or George M, the host for the Locked In podcast. Dava, half of the podcast, unfortunately, is not here today. He had a little bit to take care of, but it's all good because we have a guest. We got my man Izzy. What's up, Izzy?
what's up, brother? How you doing today, man?
How you doing, man? How you doing? For those that don't know, man, let's kind of put it away. My man Israel, aka Izzy, and Carnacion, the incarnation himself, MMA fighter from Philly. I mean, what is that to say about this guy? This guy's, he's a local legend around here, man.
I mean, I don't know about all that, but hey, you say so, go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
You're a veteran, you know what I mean? You've been around a little, bro. People know you around here. You're kind of like, you've been around for the best, bro. So, like I said, man, I went to bring you the podcast, bro. It's been a while because we spoke about this a while back, and we're finally here, man. So, I'm excited,
Right, I feel you.
Yeah,
How you
man.
been, man? How's life? How's everything going, man?
Yeah. Long way coming, bro. Everything's been good, bro. It's been a rough couple of days because a lot going on at once. And when it gets so hot, man, it's like you have like a headache. Just, so much going on, work and the heat, it don't help.
I feel you, bro. I feel like, training in the summertime and stuff like that. It helps. It helps you, helps you focus a little bit, So usually with the heat, I'm cool with it, man. Plus, I'm a fellow Caribbean. So heat and humidity really don't bother me like that,
Exactly.
It bothers me at first, and I'm like, man, just keep going about my day.
Right. I'm glad you said that because like we used to see as fighters, you gotta, kind of like, get in there and do this kind of stuff, like work hard. But I think it makes you a tougher fighter if you're here like in the background, like you've done construction, you've done a tough sport, you play a little rugby, football, soccer, you lift the weights because it gives you a little edge, it gives you like the toughness that you need for the fight game, in order to, to do a few things, you know what I mean? And again, to be kind of top of your game. And we'll get to it in a second, but as you guys know, Some promos already made, and a few things was done about his podcast. We actually mentioned this before, weeks in advance on our podcast, but I don't think you're really a member until now, so you might have seen it. But this episode's about MMA and about life as a fighter and some of the in things, like behind the scene things and intricacies that can come with being a fighter, especially being lower level, amateur, semi-pro, pro, or being pro in the big leagues, because we're gonna get to that as well. It's a different story being pro locally, be pro in the big leagues once you're in UFC.
Yeah,
and
different politics when you go pro and all that stuff. So
you take off like that. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna get into that a little bit now. Well, real quick before we jump into all that, actually, let's take it slow with this. But we do got an hour and some change. For those that don't know, can you give us some insight? So, just promote your Facebook a little, your IG, and just talk a little about yourself as far as like what you've done as far as in the fight game, and then we'll get to the.
Oh, I mean, let's see. So my Facebook is Izzy Encarnacion, which is my last name. It's hard to spell. Trust me, when I was 7 years old in the first screen, I had to learn how to spell it. That thing was terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's for those that are looking for it, it's ENCARNACION. That's my last name. My Instagram is, what is it? I think it's Izzy MMA. I believe that's what it is. Let me double check real quick. I don't even remember right
it's
now.
okay, bro. Take your time. I mean, because I don't want you to
But,
give it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I kind of forget to do the whole social media stuff because I'm so busy, working and training, and I like the more face-to-face type of interactions and social media thing. So,
right.
I'll be on my social media, but I'm not active on my social media. I use it more for just communication with friends I haven't seen in a while, like yourself. You know what I mean, George? So
no doubt. Yeah, exactly, bro. That's how we do this for.
yeah.
So, so I mean, you do got an IG and you have some good followers, and I mean, you like I said, you use it a little to your advantage a little bit, but you're not all that or like that because I don't see you all the time. I see you here and there.
yeah, right. You know what I mean? That's because I'm always doing my things on the side. I don't like a lot of people in my business all the time, which kind of screws up with the marketing of me as a fighter. But those are things you gotta work around. You gotta figure things out.
Right. Like you said, bro, we gotta definitely stay on it a little bit. Like it does help for some stuff, but at the same time, see it's different as a fighter. We do it more like for to kind of like help us, with some promoting, and self marketing and all that. But like you said, it's good to kind of keep in touch with some friends you haven't seen in a while. That's definitely what this mission has been a little bit about too. And even the podcast, we do it as a way to kind of like express ourselves a little, bring some friends in, put them on. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, because people always ask me the first thing, like you asked yourself, we spoke a few weeks ago behind the scenes, like what's the kind of main topic about? Well, there's no main topic. I mean, it's basically self-development, self-improvement, a little bit about like entrepreneurship and kind of what's going on in the world, entertainment, sports news, and MMA is a sport after all now, so obviously kind of falls in there. And since I'm a guy that trains and competes out of the guys in the podcast, most of the guys that come on, I kind of do handle that. But I mean, I have to bring another perspective, so I'm glad to have you here today. So can kind of talk from not me, because they'll be a little biased and me talking. That's why I need you in here to explain a few things. And
I got you, brother. I got you.
Yeah, it's how to get down, bro. But like I said, man, a long way coming, and let's jump into this a little bit. So just a curiosity. I mean, when did you start actually training MMA and competing? Maybe when did you first start training, and then when did you first compete? Take it there a little bit.
Let's see. I don't really remember the exact same time. I know this much. The first time I went to, I visited other MMA gyms. At the time, MMA wasn't a big thing. It was like about
10 years ago, not as big as now.
Yeah, it was like about like when I got into it, was about like 10 years ago. Around that time frame.
A little after 2010, when it was kind of starting to explode more mainstream.
Right. So it's funny. Like I really didn't know anything about MMA. Like all I knew was really boxing. I did boxing a little bit when I was younger. It was a little boxing gym that was in the basement of a church. I did it with my brother and my friend. And what we learned from there, we kept practicing with each other. We're a poor family, in Badlands, North Philadelphia. We don't really have a lot of money. So
right.
So we did what we could have. Me and my brother, being short, what I'm saying, a lot of people wanted to test us, and they woke the hell up looking at us. That's what we gotta say, for the most part. But I guess that's where I build most of my toughness at. I guess just a bunch of street and school fighting, man. I don't know. Look, I drop a ball, and once you drop, I'm done. That's it. I'm out. I'm not trying to get suspended. So
yeah, good smart
same thing
idea.
in the street. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stand there and be like, hell yeah, and they get caught. Nah, hell no. Now if I'm gone, then it's y'all word versus my word. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I could just be like, that was another Spanish bull, you know? We all look alike.
Another Rican bull, they don't know idea. Yeah, right. It could be
exactly.
And those neighborhoods brought fights up so quickly. Sometimes you don't know if it was a fight they're playing around. There's step boxing, there's a real fight. And then you know how it is. Sometimes even a shooting could happen, or even something else could happen. So the big fight is going on. Cops come to see you fight to try to stop you guys, or somebody called them. Now something happens across the street, a bodega. They're there now. It's all over. You the guy just finished fighting, you squash it, you walk away.
Yep, that's done. We done. You know what I'm saying? Once you drop, we done. That's it. Fight's over. I'm done. I'm out. I did what I needed to do. I ain't I'm up all your tall ass drop. You know. So but you know, from there, you know, it's just, you know, bickering with my brother. Like honestly, we ain't even a year apart. Like we're like 11 months and like 2 weeks apart. You know, right? So we're Irish twins. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's two males constantly butting heads with each other. You know, so we were always fighting. So I was fighting all my damn life, bro. Plain and simple. I fight all my damn life and stubborn all my life. You know, as I'm growing up, you know, I try to be more subtle. You know, but as to answer your right. But as to answer your question, man, like the first time I actually got into MMA, it's funny. Actually, it was from watching like what got me. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Want to do MMA or want to do like some type of kickboxing, karate type of thing. I don't know, but I know I wanted to smash skulls in with my fist and hit people with everything else but just my hands. You know. Right. So I actually saw the movie. Oh man, what was it? Never Back Down, the first one. Never Back Down. Yeah. I was like, yo, what the hell is this? I'm like, oh, I like this. I'm like, you know, I started looking it up. As they said, oh, mixed martial arts MMA. I said, oh, I'm like, yo, this is like the closest thing to a street fight. I went, so let me, like, honestly, like, I got into fighting just to be a better street fighter. Like, that's it.
Simple as that.
I just wanted to make sure if someone stepped me in the street, I'm going to walk away.
Right, coming from your world, from your area, you know, just being a street fighter, just a fighter, and then a street fighter, number two. So you're like, okay, we're all kind of fighters. Most of us have been street fighters or have seen something. So you're like, you know, I gotta survive, you know. So let me just learn this, a little bit of everything, from grappling to joint breaking to lock wrestling to punching to kickboxing, and then kind of you get your interest, right? Because that was a good movie, by the way. Like, Never Back Down.
Listen, yeah. Like I want to see it again. Yeah, the first one. The second one was cool, but the first one was what got me into it.
Right.
Like that's what actually got me into the sport of MMA. Like
back in like 08. Yeah, I remember that, huh?
Right. So you know, so then I'm like, all right, you know, in my research of, you know, trying to find out how I can, you know, proceed upon this, I actually saw my first UFC ever was main event, GSP versus Jake Shields. I forgot what UFC that was.
Oh, I remember that one.
But that was my very first MMA event ever. So I saw the whole thing from beginning to end. I was just like, dang, bro. I'm like, oh, that's kind of gay, but whatever, man. If it works, it works. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was my initial thought at first. I started seeing a few knockouts, a few chokes. I remember one of them dude choked the ball. I said, oh shit, my man is asleep. I was like, oh yeah, okay, look, gay, but that shit worked. You know, that's how I was. So eventually, you know, I looked. There was like I think there was like 4 or 5 MMA gyms at that time, which was BJJ United up in Jenkinstown. Which you know, I'd stop by. You know, I looked at them, chill. You know, they were really jiu-jitsu based, which, you know, I started from boxing, so it wasn't really something I was into. So I was like, all right, cool. Then I saw Brazen. I saw, what was the other one? Fight Fern. Which is down like near, I think it was down near Springboard Garden at the time.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Brazen. What was another one? You just said Brazen was they were around in 2012. Something happened, they dissolved or whatever, or they moved out. But
this, you know, some politics and that happened. But but you know, that's their own story, you know. Also visited Daddis Mixed Martial Arts, you know.
That was one of the main ones from the early days. That's what I'm trying to say, Daddis.
Right, yeah. So, you know, and I visited each one of these. I visited each one of these, and it's funny, like my very first day I walked in, you know, the little Asian guy, skinny guy, his name is Koa. He looks at me and smiles, and he's like, hey, how you doing? You know, blah, 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 welcome back. And I said, welcome back. I was like, you remember me? He was like, yeah. I remember you walked in one time just looking around. I was like, yeah. I just looked around, you know, I walked out. Like, you know, she's like, I just want to see how everything looked.
Right.
You know, but at that time, it was a Saturday. It was a fight team training that day. So it was Anthony Cheesesteak Morrison, Jackson Galka, Dan Matella. I think those, and Berlin, Yeah, B Van was trained, like they were training for fights. I know Jackson and Cheesesteak, well, they were training for a CFFC fight. You know, so I stood there, you know, I asked them, hey man, can I watch? They're like, yeah, sure, whatever, you can watch. You know, I sat there and I watched them. I was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Cheesesteak's like my height. So I'm naturally coming from the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm naturally I'm already sizing him up. You know what I'm saying? Already, I'm like, well, you know, maybe I have to come in here. I might have to fight him. That's my initial thought. Because, you know, I don't really, you know, that's a boxing world when it comes to sparring is completely different from MMA. Like boxing, that's a fight. When you in the ring sparring, quote unquote sparring, you're not sparring, bro. You literally in a fight in the boxing ring when you're in the boxing world. So MMA, I was thinking of like, man, you know, I'm looking at trying to size everyone up, boom, boom. So I went cool. So then eventually I signed up, you know, for like the 30-day free trial like I did for all the other ones. You know, they were more striking. It was a mix of both. It was pretty evenly mixed.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of jiu-jitsu. There was some wrestling days and all that stuff. You know, me not knowing anything about grappling, those were the harder days for me. I didn't know shit.
True. Right,
you know,
right.
It made me kind of regret not taking wrestling in high school when I looked at it. But when it came to the striking part, you know, it was cool. I was like, all right, cool. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Blah blah blah. 3 months down the line, they were like, I was like, yo, man, I kind of want to fight. And they were like, oh, well, before you do that, do some tournaments. All right, cool. That started my grappling journey. You know, I went to a few Nagas. You know, my first Naga, I think I went in there with a fractured rib.
That kind of sucked because I went in with a bad arm with fractured arm. So, you know, that sucks.
Yeah, yo, you know, I was like, it's grappling, whatever.
Yeah, you didn't know much about, especially when you're young in grappling, but you know,
yeah. So, you know, I just went in there. I didn't cut weight. I didn't do anything. I really didn't know what to expect, you know. I just went in there. I weighed in, whatever weight class I was, that was me. Because once again, my mentality is like the streets, you know. There's no weight classes in the streets. You just fight whoever the hell you fighting. So I ain't worried about cutting weight. I don't worry about any of that. So I walked in, I weighed myself, boom, boom. It was my bracket. It was, I think it was only like four or five people. I think it was uneven. Everyone kept going for a shot, so I kept guillotining everybody. Boom, done, out the way. I was like, oh, this is about to be sweet. So, you know, last round I went up against somebody, and all he did was wrestle. I choked him, and everyone's like, yo, he's out. Ref didn't see it, so I let it go. And he comes back. I choked him again until time runs out. So I end up losing, getting second place. You know,
just no points, right? He took you down.
Yeah, just because that's it. That's all he could do. He just took me down. So what? Yeah, I was like, I was happy. I was happy. Why? Because my first, you know, national, quote unquote, national tournament. I'm coming with second place. You know,
right.
Coming home with a medal. I'm like, yo, I did way better than I thought.
This is was this Naga or Grapples was Naga, right?
I believe it was Naga. I think it was Battle at the Beach. I think that's what it was called.
Oh yeah, back then they were heavy. They still got them, but back then they were really big in Wildwood. Battle at the Beach.
Yeah. So So it's, you know, Battle at the Beach. You know, a few of my coaches, you know,
a couple students,
as well.
Going there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know, then afterwards we chilled at the beach. You know, we had fun. You know, enjoyed our day and bounced. You know, then from there on, I kept doing a couple tournaments. You know, luckily for me, I kept tapping everyone out quickly. You know, both in gi and no gi. I always came home with either double gold or gold and silver every time. So I always came out good.
Yeah, bro. It's funny, like almost like the grappling wasn't your thing, but by the time I met you, you're already a pretty good grappler. So when he told me that, I was like, yeah, but I don't see that because you're kind of good at grappling, but you're kind of a decent striker and a boxer. But the thing is, your grappling has probably improved a lot. So I mean, at the same time, it might not be. A lot of people don't start out with grappling, and it's not really their thing. It seems like, especially guys that are more striking based. But over time, it's, you know, they kind of fall in love. They develop, you know, some good habits. You know what I mean? You know,
right.
or good, you know, good patterns as far as grappling, like 1-2 leg kick or 1-2 throw a punch. And if he comes up too high, uppercut or go in for a double, strip him, take him down, shoot in on him, get on top. It's like grappling. So, and you always had a good guillotine. So listening to your story, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. A guillotine. Yeah, my first tournament was actually also actually was like a Battle of the Beach, and no, it was actually Grapple Squares, then a Battle of the Beach. I went to gi right away. Gi, white belt. I did blue belt the next year. 2 years later, I did blue belt basically.
Okay, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so I started out with grappling too. Like you said, the tournament. That's what got me first. Well, I did wrestling in high school, so I started way different. But as far as like after wrestling MMA, I was doing a Muay Thai, so I did some like a smoker or two, and then I got into like some grappling tournaments, and that's how it started. The MMA was just, I was throwing. Okay, here you go. Now you can kick a little, you can punch a little. You know, you can wrestle because obviously you wrestle. You know, a little grappling. Didn't know a lot of ankle locks. I know a couple submissions. I could get out of ankle locks. Didn't know a lot of, you know, great boxing, but I was okay. And that was it. Yeah. I remember sparring with a boxer, and I was a Muay Thai guy, and I was like, yeah, I got to work with my hands a little more because, like, they're just, if they could get away from your kicks and knees, you know, you're pretty much, you got to have the hands. If not, you're fucked. So that's how I remember that. And you're saying you learn a little boxing, how to kick and kickbox and put it together. It's like a little similar, but a little in reverse. But yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because you started out originally with Greco wrestling, I think, right?
I started wrestling, and wrestling, collegiate wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. These three styles for the most part. Then Muay Thai, and then Sambo and Jiu-Jitsu, and then eventually MMA. But by like 07, 08, I was doing MMA. But I started in 06, 07, but I wasn't in a wrestling team. So like you said, I was watching UFCs. I like watching them. I got hooked to the UFC in like 03. So I was like, all right, the UFC is kind of where it's at. And I was wrestling. So when you're young, you kind of like, you're young, and you fantasize a little, you're kind of dumb, you don't know much. So I was like, yo, what I do is very similar, except we don't punch each other. But if you do one of these and just hit him real fast, you can slap him and get away with it, or yank his head real quick and just with his shoulder, or even a crossface. So it's very similar. Later on, I learned that if you know the history, everything was kind of once upon a time connected. Fighting and boxing and wrestling and kickboxing, jiu-jitsu and submissions are all somehow interrelated.
It is. I mean, well, what happened? It started out trying to figure out which one was the best martial art. That's how it started.
Exactly. And jiu-jitsu always is striking in Japan, even in Brazil. Yeah, with BJJ was grappling, but they would do a lot of like fighting tournaments of fight strikers. Some of them even fought, against strikers. A guy in Japan named what was his name? Antonio Inoki fought Muhammad Ali, which was he was like a shoot wrestler, which means like realistic wrestling. So he was almost like MMA, but it was more like wrestling. Was when it was like pro wrestling, but it was more like real fighting in a way. So he fought Ali, but they made special rules, and he had to get on his back to kick Ali, and Ali was even throwing some kicks and kind of grapple a little. I never seen Muhammad Ali grapple through some kicks. So, okay, cool, I said. But it was like the fight didn't really live up to expectation, but it was a nice spectacle, and he helped grow the interest. But the Gracies and the guys in Brazil were already doing that before the 70s, because this was 76. Right. They were doing it since like 1916. So we're talking about 80 years before that shit. So like, whoa.
Yeah, there was people just coming into the gym just trying to beat them, and every time it was getting to the point where I remember seeing documentaries and stuff where they were like, after a while they were just like, just fight one of my students, man. You want to fight me, you gotta beat my student, and they couldn't get past the students. So
couldn't get past the white belts or blue belts, let alone the black belts.
They were getting the asses handed to them by 16-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? So that's sad.
It's sad, bro. And thank God that at 16 I was already wrestling. So I got to Muay Thai by like 18 and a half. So I was like, all right, good thing. And I got to MMA after 16, around 17, really. I trained with somebody briefly, very little, but I was still wrestling at the time. And then again, right after wrestling, the grappling kicked in. I was already naturally gifted submissions a little bit. And I did Muay Thai for like 7 months. I was training Rami Elite. Shout out to my Rami. And I was out there. What up, man? I just saw Rami too the other day, actually. So I got into doing that. But by the time I was doing Muay Thai, I had a little knowledge of MMA as a whole and a little bit of like obviously wrestling, a little grappling. So I got my striking a little better, Muay Thai. Then I did boxing, and I thought I was actually like a decent boxer until I started boxing. Like, okay, I gotta get a lot better. And my thing was not to kick and clinch, was use my hands and just get close, slip and use some principles with kickboxing. But use them, again, just smaller the distance, because kickboxing is longer range, or Muay Thai, all that knockout striking art. So I was trying to get closer. And again, I learned the boxing game. That was kind of like I would say boxing and a lot of submission grappling were kind of like some of the less things to really I got better in. But by the time I start fighting and getting into it, like I said, I wasn't the best boxer, but I was good enough to spar boxers and be okay, just straight boxers. So once I did that, I was like, I'm cool. Because in MMA, a lot of guys didn't have good hands. I looked at them like, okay, they're kind of cool, but they throw hard. They try to mask it by doing this a little, they kind of keep the hands low, or they drop the hands. So they're tough, but they drop the hands so you can hook them. So if you're a good boxer, like you're a pretty good boxer and a counter fighter, kind of boxer, that some of these guys in our area here, they present a big threat. So I was like, I wasn't really threatened. But having said that, I couldn't neglect that. I had to really learn, get nice with the hands, with the movement, the boxing, the kickboxing, and that's what I did, And like I said, when I met you, actually, that's when I was really kind of starting to follow my own, and you're already, basically fighting. So I was like, we met at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, Mo, of course, my boy Mo, our main guy Mo. I knew him and I managed through him, but that's how it all started. He was
that's true. That's true. That is how we met, through Mo. Good old Mo.
Yeah, Mo, my boy Da. He was doing the thing. He was doing, what was it doing? He was on I believe he was on Premier Mixed Martial Arts and Adatis, and it's like met, because he showed me fights. They did like almost like not even a smoker or like a gym match, more like just like a very intensified sparring session. But they had gym matches too.
Smoker or hit day, it's more of it's harsh sparring. In other words,
harsh sparring,
you're sparring enough to make it feel like a real fight, but if someone's in danger, we step in and it's over.
Exactly.
We're not trying to hurt anyone. We just want to experience how it feels to get in there. So that way, hey, do you want to be a fighter or do you not? This is the only way for you to find out.
You kind of find exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Also, with smokers, you get to find out, where you're lacking in. Am I lacking in my conditioning? Am I lacking in my diet? Which
cardio, your IQ, maybe you go too fast.
Right. striking wise, where am I lacking in? Am I getting work? I'm getting hit more on this side, which means I'm dropping my hands. So, you know, smokers is more for, you know, you can actually test your skill, you know. So I believe smoking and hits are a necessity in order for you to improve. So
I think you're right, bro. And I'm glad you mentioned it. And if you don't mind, let's stick on this, you know, take a little slow on the smoker thing, because a lot of people don't know. They always ask me, George, yo, G-Money, what does smoker mean? Don't mean that you're a smoker, like you smoke a cigarette or smoking, you go fight after that. That's not what it means. What it means is
that's just a name it got.
That's the name it got. It's a smoker because it's like you want that smoke, I guess. No, it really means this.
I don't really know where the name smoker originated
It just
from.
means like an unofficial match, like you just said, almost like you have a smoker or a gym match, and then you have intensified training, sparring, where it's also a physical fight, but if it gets crazy, either the guy will stop, and if the guy doesn't stop, because sometimes you have the adrenaline, you may even have a ref, or the coach can watch from the outside and can jump in real quick, because no one wants to see nobody get hurt. And I don't know, I mean, I know you're the same way as me. I never been the type of dude to go take it hard on guys or take it easy if they want me to go hard. If you're fighting, you go a little hard, that's cool. We're going to work. We're still going to be protecting each other, and nobody's going to get hurt. If you're a guy don't know, and you're sparring me, cool, but, you know, keep it nice and professional. There's gentlemen agreements. Just all it is, we shake hands, we speak a little before the fight, or before the training session, that's it. Me and you spar, we got on live stream, we got on video to this day from like 3 or 4 years ago, even before that, years ago, and no one ever got hurt on one heavy. We got some shots, you know, to each other, that was it. Some takedowns.
Yeah, it was. Here's the thing. Well, that's where the professionalism comes in. It's about
break it down.
Can you utilize the skills that you have done without hurting your partner? You know, if you can do that, that's a high level of control. If you can't do that, you know, there's still things you need to work on.
Yeah,
you need to work on your control. Like, for instance, there is no way I could use my full speed and not hit you hard. That's impossible. But there is up to a level of speed that I can use, that I can bop you like pop, 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 and there is no pain coming through. But, you know, if this was a real fight, I could have cracked you as many times as I wanted to. But that's where professionalism and skill of how to control your power and speed comes in. You know, and that comes in with over time. Like a beginner won't ever be able to do that. They will never be able to do that. The reason why is
conditioning. They don't got that accessibility. You know, they like to boom, hit you real quick, or just fake you and go almost crack you, but just kind of stop right here, just like go top. Like, honestly,
exactly.
That's hard. Like, you gotta be very seasoned, very compact. You have to have been in there a little bit, or even if you actually didn't really fight, but you sparred a lot, you have the sensibility where you're almost like a pro level. That still helps. But if you're a beginner, you can't do that. Beginners will crack you. You'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, and they'll stop, drop the hands. No, dude, if you crack somebody, drop your hands. They're gonna crack you back now. See, it's because they're not.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Oh, sorry, boom, it hits you now.
I get a lot of those. And like every time I spar with someone that I don't know, I always let them know. Listen, man, I'm gonna give you what you give me. You hit me hard, you're gonna get that receipt, homie. Which means if you feel something when soft, all of a sudden you got a big crack across your face because you hit me hard. And I'm gonna let you know after you did it. Watch your power. You keep doing it. Listen, man, you drop unconscious. That's on you because I'm giving you what you give me.
Exactly. You know? And again, just to highlight that real quick, it's not about us going hard. I don't even care if the guy's a beginner. He's actually somehow getting the better of me. Maybe he was having a bad day. My mind is not there. I'm thinking somewhere the fuck else. But here's the thing: if they go and you tell them once, yo, come on, relax a little, or tell them control your power, they might not know how to control their power. So it actually comes up to you or me. We're more experienced to tell them a little. But if they keep doing it, then if you drop on me, you know what? If you eat a shrimp to the face, you spar guys like Sadeko, Paul Felder, Cheesesteak, Big Zoo, Sean Brady, whatever, counting us. But because we're actually like nice to these guys, and we still go we go as hard as they want. But you spar guys like this, they'll drop you. And to even to be in there with them, you got to really kind of like earn your right to be some of these guys who are in the UFC now, who got a lot better, who got experience. You know what I mean? Some of these guys are still fighting. Some are like still there, maybe don't fight as much, but they still got all the technique. And again, you hit them a little hard, you piss them off. You don't want to be in there when you get tired in a cage there. And guess what? The coach can help you because you know what you're getting into at this point. You be training. No one gets thrown in sparring. That's another thing, misconception.
Right.
You don't spar unless you've been there for a few months too, or a couple of weeks, and you're already good like that, and they know you.
And even then, let's say a few months, then we introduce. Where I'm at, we introduced Dutch. So it's Dutch sparring or Dutch pad work, which means instead of hitting pads, now you're practicing on each other. More of you practicing accuracy and also learning how to control your power. And then over time, like one way I like to describe like to beginners when they're getting into sparring, I'm like, yo, the hardest you should hit your partner is if you're playing with your kid. How hard would you hit them? You're not going to hit them hard. You're going to play with them, then touch. That's how hard you should hit your partner. It should be something where you get bopped, And this shouldn't be like, my nose or on my face. No, it should be cool. All right, I gotta make sure I keep my hands up, or I get my head out of move, slip out the way or step back. You shouldn't be trying to knock them out. If you're hitting them to the point where they're getting hurt, you're going too hard, homie. And you're gonna get it, especially like, let's say if I'm running the class and I'm like, yo, and I hear it, I'm like, yo, you're hitting too hard. Okay, cool. You do it again. After strike down, I'm gonna put my gloves and I'm gonna blast your body to let you know, yo, stop hitting too hard. There's consequences to your actions. All right, so that, like, I'm coming from the streets, especially when I'm the way I talk is a little more rougher than most people. But people don't ever complain, so I guess they like it,
You're also like a decent coach, man. Your voice might be like, you might sound like you're talking to them, and like it seems like maybe like you're just kind of telling them, like, it might to the average eye, the average person doesn't know, the casual, always looking down to be a little rough. In reality, you're just being you, and you just kind of trying to motivate them by kind of showing them, like, like almost like a experienced older cousin, big bro, like, yo, I've been around here, man, And even if the person's really big, way bigger than you and me, like big tall guy, 6'5", 6'2", whatever, 6'3", you can still tell them, listen, it's like this. And once they feel a kick or punch, because I remember you hit hard for your size. Another, yeah, man.
Yo, everyone always says that, yo. Oh crap. No, but yeah, like like you were saying earlier, like trust me, there's always gonna be guys coming into gyms trying to test their worth, right? And like the gym that I'm at now, like for instance, when someone comes in and I'm there, the first thing they do was like, oh, you wanna fight a coach? You wanna go hard? You wanna test your skills? I don't think you should do that, but if they keep egging it on, they always be like, okay, cool, you going Eze? I'm like, yo, you going with him? The reason why is I'm gonna toy with you. I'm gonna humiliate you. And then after a while, when you're done, I'm gonna demonstrate to you as to why you don't belong in this ring yet, or the cage, why you belong in class, and why there's levels to this shit without hurting them. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's been a few times where I accidentally knocked them out. Oops. Welcome to the fight game, baby.
I'm guilty of that. You don't mean to knock them out, but like you said, bro, it's important that we talk about, because this is the thing. This actually leads us to the second part of the discussion. The main topic is MMA, but we're talking about development of fighters, life of a fighter. So I'm actually glad we kind of brought this up without even really, going into it, but just kind of see how we led to it. So look, here's the thing, right? A fighter's begin, like you said, one way is to do a smoker tournament, see if you got it. Some guys develop something like where like they got the best skill for one thing. They're like, yo, I'm actually better at boxing. I train with a mixed fighting gym, an MMA, mixed martial arts gym, but I stick to boxing. You can still train with other arts, but you're going to stick to what you're good at. Some people stick to grappling or jiu-jitsu, or maybe even wrestling. Like they're good judo guys, good wrestlers. They might have fought once or twice in the ring, in a cage or whatever, but they stick to like wrestling tournaments, BJJ, submission grappling, judo, etc. Some people stick to Muay Thai or kickboxing or karate, or whatever they have, some kind of, because they just seem to be better at that, and MMA is not for everybody, but anyone that really trained on these arts and is good at them, is athletic, can give it a try. That's how you can really, describe it, because not everybody's a fighter belongs in MMA fighting. You could be a fighter in a boxing ring, bare knuckle boxing.
Trust me, I've had this discussion. Not trying to interrupt you though, but I've had this discussion with teammates alone. There's different categories to this. There are fighters, there are athletes, and there are competitors. There are different people that go into that step into the cage and the
martial artists.
Right.
There's like five.
And martial artists, right? Like, which I consider those as more competitors. Like you're going in just testing your skill. You got
some people do that. They're competing tournaments, martial arts tournament. Like it's fighting, that's punch to the face, but it's not necessarily MMA. It's a little slightly different rules, not a big upscale. You don't get paid like that, But I've seen guys do full contact sport jiu-jitsu, but it's like a full contact version, and it's a lot of groundwork, but they punch, kick. It's almost like pancration and like sambo, but they wear the jiu-jitsu gis and all. So it's got BJJ, Japanese jiu-jitsu, karate, judo, and some boxing, kickboxing. They punch and kick.
Didn't Khabib do something like that?
Yeah, I did combat sambo, and I did bare knuckle boxing, but no, I didn't do full contact sport jiu-jitsu, but I'd love to do it, and me and you would do it, it'd be okay, because it's like MMA with gi, bro. It's a lot of grappling.
You're striking with open palms. Yeah,
you could. In this one, you can punch to the face. The only thing you couldn't do that I saw, you cannot knee to the face on the ground and elbows on the face to the ground, but you get elbows standing up like one of these. So stand up, there's elbows, ground, no elbows, ground, no knees to the face.
Wait, what? And what sport is that? What sport is that?
It's called just I can find out in the link, bro. They basically call it full contact sport jiu-jitsu, like with strikes and all. So it's jiu-jitsu, but it's like
that shit caught my interest, man. Oh, I'm about Chris. I ain't trying to curse, but that caught my interest. You know what I'm saying? I kind of might look into that, because I might want to try that from time to time.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many sports out there. There's not MMA. The rules are almost as identical, the same. You have like shoe fighting in Japan, pancration in like USA, Greece. That's where it came from, and Canada a little bit. Although it's worth to note that modern pancration is almost nothing like the old pancration, because how you gonna tell me modern pancration is a mixture of the arts and a little bit of MMA twist, except it came out before MMA in the 70s. They fight here. Pancration guys back in the days of ancient Greeks fought here because they have a shield, like the Spartans.
I remember back in the day, gladiators back in
here.
Roman time. That's what they did. They did pancration.
The days of the the Romans and the lands and the Greeks and the Spaniards and all that, and they'll throw you from everywhere all over the Roman Empire and fight because the Romans copied the Greeks from pancration. They call it pancratium, and in Latin, which was a language which eventually Italian Spanish came from there, as we know, they would use that language. And you could be anything. You could be an Egyptian, a Nubian, a German, a Spaniard, a Latin, an Etruscan, an Illyrian, an Arab, and they'll throw you in there, and then you'd fight, either as a gladiator or as a pancrationist. And they were heroes. They made more money than the senators.
I mean, listen.
As of right now, they still make money. I mean, we'll get to that in a few minutes in our segment here on our show.
Everybody loves violence. It doesn't matter what they is. They might not want to. They might not want to be the ones to get hit. But let me tell you, everybody loves violence. Women, kids, men, old people, young people, everyone loves violence.
It attracts your mind. There's something about violence, like you said. Remember, Joe Rogan spoke about this. You can watch a football game, a hockey game, or a baseball game, or even some things all three at the same time, simultaneously. Something happens, a fight is in a hallway or at your house. Somebody fights the thought. You're gonna look at your house like this. You're gonna go out. It's just
you're gonna, bro. It's human nature. We're animals. And at the end of the day,
it's the most
everything. There's violence in everything. Look at the animal kingdom. They fight for territory, for the females. You know what I'm saying? There's always violence.
For territory, for food.
There's all that's why when people try talking about peace, that's not real. That's delusion.
Peace is
right
cool,
now. This is the closest to peace. Right now in the U.S., I gotta say in the U.S. because there is other stuff. But I mean, look what's happening overseas with Palestine and Israel. Like that's war still. That's been going on for thousands of years. But as of right now in the world, though, there's less violence now than there has ever been. This is the closest to peace that you can ever get. My man just walked. You saw that? My man just walked away.
I hear you, bro. No, I mean, that's the thing, it's just part of our nature, and people need to accept that. Like I said, there could be peace, but peace only can really exist if somebody's defending it and somebody knows how to fight. Both parties are cool, and like as real men be like, they both can fight. Be like, let's kind of step away, because most real dudes will get along. And then if you gotta protect your, not to sound too, from the scriptures, but protect your, you're hurting them from the wolves. You better not fight, because guess what? Who they bring to protect the sheep and the cattle? Dogs that can fight, not no wimpy dogs, not no small dogs. So you can preach the peace shit all you want and turn out the cheek, but somebody's gonna beat you the fuck up or stab you. So you gotta be a fighter. You gotta protect your family, your woman, your wife, your kids, your parents, your folks. I mean, friends, all that. You just gotta, knowing
exactly.
It's really essential that people know how to fight in this day and age, bro. I mean, how about that? That wasn't even a part of my notes, but you know what? We brought it up. Fuck it, let's talk about it.
Listen, man. I believe the fact that if I feel like people think, oh, you have money, this and that, you could do it. No, man. And you have power. And power means if anyone could be rich, and I could just go there and knock you the hell out and take your money. Then what? What the hell that money gotta do? Nothing. Power runs shit. Why do you think the U.S. owes people money? We're $1 trillion in debt, but no one tries to F with us. Why? Because we're the most powerful nation. Right. We have the biggest army. We're actually, as a matter of fact, the U.S. has the 3 biggest armies. The actual army, the Navy, and the what's the other thing it was? The Air Force. We have the 3 biggest armies in the world. We have the 3 biggest armies in the world. We can literally split those 3 up and conquer 3 different nations if you want.
Navy and then Air Force. So you have the air, all the elements from air, from the ground, from the sea, from bushes or whatever, from underground even. We have Marines that go underground in tunnels. Like the Navy SEALs are sick, bro. And that ties back to MMA. A lot of these guys love the sport, and a lot of athletes either. Because, as we know, in MMA, is definitely one of the biggest backgrounds is you have grapplers, wrestlers, athletes, competitors, all this, but you also have army guys that, that join the sport, or because they do it, the combatives, which a friend of mine, who I just seen it, my one friend, right? My friend C, he lives in St. Louis now, but I just seen it, it's been a while, and he got jacked and bigger than me. He's huge, right? Lifting and all that. So we're talking, I was like, yo, are you still doing the combative stuff? And he said, no, that stuff is kind of whack. It's kind of a joke, unless you go to the more proficient ones. And they had, depending on where you are, like what army, SEC battalion, where you're stationed at, there's better ones than others. But they got like wrestling teams, jiu-jitsu, boxing, submission, grappling, and some light striking, and like combatives, which is almost like everything goes. But they fight for the more realistic stuff, and then to do it for fun, they do some sports stuff, because they get bored there in the middle of the desert or the middle of
Think of it this way, and this is my experience with my Marine friends and infantry friends and other people that come to the
infantry,
gym.
right?
Like fighters, we're hand-to-hand experts. When they come in, they're testing. In reality, they can't really beat us. That's what we do. But now we're talking about all together. Oh, they could shoot us from far away. We'll never be able to touch them. We're hand-to-hand experts. They aren't. They're not hand-to-hand experts. Their goal is to destroy you. Well, can't say destroy you. Take you out. Take you out before you reach a certain distance to them. That's the job of the military, the army. Exactly. Bro. That's their job. Now you get close, they're like, oh crap, they need something. So they would, they're not hand-to-hand experts, but that's why they gotta train all the time.
But that's the whole thing, though. See, and I respect them because here's the thing. Back in the day, I would think, like you said, when I was younger, before I got in MMA, I'd be like, yo, guys that do like the Marines probably would kick my ass because do something. I mean, they're shooting, they're fighting people. When I got older and I realized I was doing martial arts before I even got into MMA, the sport, I was doing more than martial arts. The more like the self-defense and all that combative, which is what they learned. I was training Army secret, like Secret Service guys, Army guys that work for like the Navy, top notch. Like I got to train with some of my senseis and train them. So I'm like, wow, look at me. I'm helping out and training guys that protect the president. They got contracts too. And at the time I think Bush was president. No, Obama was just coming in office. So it was like,
trust me, I know. I'm an actual bodyguard myself, so I know.
So yeah,
I got my license and everything. So
keep the license and all that, and I got my license to carry, but I mean it's been a while since I carried. So I'm like, although I know about guns and all, I'm like, yo, now it's like I'm talking because now I could get the gun from the hand. Before I was strictly a wrestler, and then I got into like all the martial arts and the confidence you build, and how much you learn, and knowing that you can probably beat those guys, but they're just sharper with far away shooting. Because I mean, I can shoot back. I ain't a sniper now. It's not gonna. I mean, like I've done some technical stuff, so it's like they can show you can show them. But when you do combative martial arts, like I've done, and a lot of knife fighting, oh, that comes in hand. Because I mean, even a gun, like once you get good with the knives and the sticks, you can they give you a gun, or if if you're licensed to carry, you can buy one. Gun tactics, and gun tactics don't mean shooting from far. It means from close range, from how to not be seen from far, how to shoot back, stuff like that. So if you know that, you're equipped for war. And that's what they do. They're not really all the time experts in hand-to-hand combat, but they learn a lot. Because my sister's in the military. She's in the Air Force. So she tells me they teach you some wrist locks, some throws, some jiu-jitsu, but basic. But
they teach you enough to, if shit hits the fan, they could try to survive. That's for the most part what they teach them.
Some guys know more than others, right? Some are trained like almost like some James Bond type, like military stuff, like the movie with Wesley Snipes called The Art of War. He was a special agent. They teach you some real martial arts, and those movie scenes are really cool. Like they flip around. It's like these motherfuckers with kung fu, but they're just doing defensive American. I think they're called American urban defensive tactics. It's something like they call them. I mean, in reality, but it's all connection of martial arts. So they're doing that, but like you said, they're not really as quick to fight one-on-one. For like a 15-minute round as an MMA fighter, but they're tougher, like in the desert. I mean, they breathe. See, they're also cardio, so it's different levels and scenarios. You know what I mean? So you can compare.
Oh, bro, yeah. Listen, like for instance, like when I became a bodyguard, now that's another level. That's another part of training that I have to work on. So which means I have to cut back a little more on the hand-to-hand stuff. The MMA grappling, because I have to focus more on the shooting part and certain scenarios. If someone is, especially as a bodyguard. Right. Especially as a bodyguard, if your client is behind you or they're in front of you, like depends on how many groups is in the in the
building, in the house,
right? Because sometimes we have a group of 3, it's a group of 4, but if it's a group of 2, man, that is the hardest thing because you have to pay attention not to just anything, but all the surroundings around, like everything, bro. That is I would never want to be just a one-on-one. That is terrible.
That's terrible, bro. Think about it. 2 security guys, and again. People think that if you're bigger, beefier, you're bigger. When I was doing bouncing, you're kind of supposed to be a bouncer. Not really, I said. But anyway, the smaller guys that can move. It's all about how you use your element. The exit. Like I used to work at a bar as a doorman, as a security, bouncer. I've done a little on security, but I mean, it's different, bro. Like you said, it's a little harder. If there's people around, it's a big crowd. If you don't got a lot of help, you got to be a lot more like, you got to see.
You got to be more vigilant.
More militant and vigilant. Yep.
Right, like I do security. I do armed security and unarmed security, depending on what contract it is. And every time what I do, always, especially when I do unarmed, first thing I do is make sure I'm in a spot where my back is always covered. Therefore, all I have to do is pay attention to my left, my right in front of me.
Right, and straight. That's the thing, bro. Because we actually went to the club recently, right? Not to get into the different stories. I just want to tell you a story.
No, but that's what this is for, though.
Right, exactly. It was like it was kind of weird because like we're hanging out there chilling. It's me, my boy, and one of my homies, one of my young boys, and not neither one of us, all 3 of us, nobody really looks. I mean, I mean, I guess I got the size a little, but still even there. No one really sees I'm an MMA fighter. I don't got bad cauliflower ears, so most people can't tell anyway. I look normal, but I got the fair. All right, just kind of give me a little space, and don't try that because it gets shady down there in South Philly, Columbus Boulevard. We're chilling, bro, and people start coming up to us and some like trying to spy and see what was dudes was being on some ninja shit. They were trying to figure out what's up. Like the Mexicans came up to us. Some of the poppies are there, the Rican bulls, the black dudes, watching us. But at the end of the night, it's like they all respected us. It's almost like they seen that we were kind of like those dudes, but you couldn't fuck with us. And we know, like our talk, we know how to move around. And they seen we a little bread, but there's only 3 of us, so they really want some shady stuff. They could have tried it, but I'm like, all right, they tried it. I can handle myself. My Yamo can fight a little, and my man, he can fight too. My homie right here next to me, he knows a little kung fu. He knows a little jiu-jitsu. He's trained with Daniel Gracie a little bit. He's been there a couple times. So he knows a little MMA too, like a little training. So all 3 of us are cool. But what happens is when it's a big crowd, then what do you do now? Then at some point you have to fight and hold one of those guys, and throw him against these friends. Because if it's 3 people and it's 13 of them, unless you guys can fight really well, those guys can't fight. It's gonna be a little tough. So we're watching for the thing, and what we did is we got a table by the door, like the bed. Say the bathroom door is right here to the right. We were like right here where I'm at, like a little more to maybe like 3.5, 4 yards to the left. And I was able to steal 2 chairs. Nobody was actually sitting them. So I came up with 2 chairs, and it was 3 of us. So we're chilling, the table sitting down, and we're watching. And when they're walking up to us, they're walking this way, so we kind of see it from peripheral, and our back is against the wall. So no funny shit. If your back is against the wall, it's against the fucking bar. Somebody could try to do some weird shit. I mean, people get shanked in bars. A bottle could come and slice you. I mean, a broken bottle is like a weapon. So even a normal bottle is a weapon. So I mean, it's good to know where you're seating and how you present yourself and who you go with to spots like this, bro. And it was kind of funny. I was looking, but I peeped even the Mexicans, and I never see like the Mexicans never come up to us like that, bro. But South Philly got a lot of Mexicans apparently. They came up with some funny shit, but then I spoke with Spanish to one boy, and he was cool after that. It's almost like he got my respect. Then I try to keep it cool, but I could just tell you right now, bro, that they weren't trying to be cool with us. They're trying to spy to see. They're trying to test us.
Right. I mean, well, you have to remember, in clubs and stuff, there's alcohol involved, right? And when alcohol is involved with men, you got pride and testosterone mixed with alcohol, and that's and our job as security is to de-escalate the situation.
Bingo.
When you try to de-escalate all that stuff, even when they touch you, our job is to homie back up. That's your first warning. But once people step over the boundary, and you whip their ass, that's on them. But
I've seen it bro.
Right. Remember, our job as security is always to de-escalate situations. So you see something's funny, let them know, yo, you good? You need help? Nah, you know where you're going? All right, cool. Let them know. I see you, man. But don't be a dick about it. So.
It's happened a lot, bro. Exactly as I was with me when I worked security. I only broke up maybe 4 fights. One guy wanted to fight me, but it was like, the security there trying to get him out. He was being weird. He was drunk, of course. In AC, I've seen that. People and even older dudes were like, at the time I was like maybe 23, 24. I was in AC, like years ago, like a decade ago almost. And you would see people do stupid shit, and their friends trying to warn him. They just kind of keep walking, and then you hear like 4 bounce on him, and they're beating him the fuck up, like punching him, stomping him, holding him because he got flashed, trying to grab somebody, grab a girl, or slap somebody, there. If you stop fights there, you're not going to win with security. So the best thing to do is have a friend to help you out. Most people don't have a friend.
Right.
So, it's, I mean, that's just how it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, like I said, what I was saying is it's good to learn from stuff like that. So you de-escalate situations and you help people instead of, making everything worse. Because, fighting in clubs, you're not supposed to fight anyway. You're supposed to help out, really. And, you know what I mean? Like
you're supposed to de-escalate it. We're not supposed to fight. We're supposed to de-escalate.
Exactly, right? People don't get that, and like when I was working security, let people go because people didn't understand that. We have to get better, more professional security. So yeah, it's a story, man. And a lot of MMA guys have been security. Actually, I follow one guy. His name is Josh Haynes. You might remember him from the Ultimate Fighter 3, when like Michael Bisping came out of him. He fought Michael Bisping in a finale. So he's my friend on Facebook, right here on Facebook, and I see that security now. He's got a company in Vegas. They do like security, and he was on a show one time, and he said Officer Haynes. He's like, oh wow, that's a good Josh Haynes from the Ultimate Fighter house. He was in Ultimate Fighter 3, so top 3. That's how it's been years ago. We're 22 now. It's been like a whole decade, But yeah, I mean, he was on his show, and then they started doing, trying to break crowds down, and in Vegas it's a hell lot more than crazy than Philly. There's more violence, more situations, so.
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure, I know. Yeah.
So, but anyway, how long you did security though? I didn't know you did security. You told me something, but I just thought like you're doing it like as a doorman.
Oh, how long I've been doing? I think like 2-3 years.
2-3 years. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
two,
Sounds
three
about
years,
right.
Yeah. That's how long I've been doing, security. And then from there, I started learning on, I'll go get certifications. Actually, me and Cheesesteak do. Me and Anthony Cheesesteak Morrison, we actually do security. We're not together now. We're different companies.
Right.
I mean, I feel my other friends, we do armed security and all that. But me and Cheesesteak, we always try to
Yeah, Anthony.
improve in our skills. We get certifications. We go do certain things, and then we keep practicing over and over again. That's another part of training that we have to add into our game.
Yeah.
It's not just unarmed anymore. Now we have to practice armed things.
You got to learn
Clearing
stuff again.
rooms.
Disarms.
Right, like let's say we have to go inside. We have to clear a room. We have to make sure we're doing that right. If you're doing it by yourself, how you make sure you're doing it right. You're doing it with a partner. Make sure you have your partners back. Stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like with like Cheesesteak was a good fighter. So for him to kind of lean to this, like imagine having that. This is like the next part we're gonna get to, like the business. Of after fighting. When you're a fighter, you do so much, making money, but it's also what you do after, like having a security company, a gym you can operate, a business, a restaurant. You become an entrepreneur and kind of like have something more
Right.
after fighting. And again, we haven't got to the point yet, but if you're in the UFC making good money, that's much easier. If you're not, you can still do something. If you know how to sort of project your where your assets are at, your money
You
is
gotta
at.
market yourself.
Huh?
I say you gotta market yourself.
Market yourself, correct. So and that's now since we're talking about this now as a fighter, right? Let's talk about some fighters and like maybe some bigger names, they're out there, or guys that we know, because we know personal, fighters, that will fought in UFC and all. As a fighter, you know how important it is to market yourself. But in this day and age, would you say it's changed completely now? It's like what you do on IG, on social media, on podcasts, on your brand. It's really important. It's not how it was,
Yes.
05.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, back in the there's still people now that suck at marketing themselves. I'm one of them. I'm terrible at it, but that's what management and managers are for. That's their job. So now you go into a management company and they're not marketing you that well. You better go get yourself another manager, because
Correct.
he's not doing his job or she's not doing his job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But honestly, if you're a person that's real good with like social media and all stuff, you can do that stuff yourself. I mean, look what's happening right now. Look at let's say UFC, for instance. Look what's happening with the John Jones and the Dana White situation. Look at Sugar O'Malley. Like, they're all marketing themselves. They're all good at it. And the people that are real good at Izzy Adesanya. I mean, Izzy, what's up, homie? With the saying,
Izzy, right. Your name brother.
I mean, but they're good at marketing themselves. Yes, they have their managers. Yes, that's true. They have their managers and all that stuff, but they're doing most of the work anyway. I mean, look at Izzy. Izzy got real popular just because of his social media work, what he's done himself. All the podcasts and interviews he's done with radio, like he's done all that himself. No one made him do it. He did it. He did the work himself. That was the work he did. Look at Sugar showing O'Malley. Like, he does his own podcasts. He's always throwing the random videos out. He's marketing himself.
Smart marketing, bro. But see, here's the thing. I wouldn't say I'm a marketing genius, although I'm working with some marketers. Actually, that was one of the things I studied, digital marketing, digital media in college and all, and I'm a communications major. But here's the thing, right? To do even this is kind of marketing. What we're doing right now is like the form of communication, the podcast, and this is what it's for. But to be a marketer, like I'm a decent marketer, but I know I got to improve because there's a lot of things I still don't know. Even though I post a lot when I can. Like if I got like fight coming up or tournaments, I try to promote a certain way. But now it's smart to promote it like having a picture, a video. Blogging is very big. Vlogging, not just blogging, but vlogging is also still the podcasting. It's been going on.
What we're doing now is a vlog.
Basically, yeah, a show. And then I see Fat Joe do the same show. I see, all these guys, you know what I mean? Like all these like rappers and all these people. So, I mean, yeah, bro. If you can do it yourself on your own and yourself, it's cool. And let's be real, your manager's not gonna do these. Some people do have social media people to take care of just their account because they don't want to be there like that. But most of the guys, these celebrities, fighters, athletes, rappers, entertainers, comedians, whatever they are, people that get money, influencers, they're doing this on their own. Their social media, they're kind of taking care of their own. It's not somebody's posting pictures for them unless they have an administrator. But a lot of times it's them. But a manager will take care of like your contract. And it's something else we just mentioned, John Jones. Remember the guy? Talking about Monty Cox. Are you familiar with him? Yeah. See, yep. He's also big in the Philly area. He's one of the guys, I believe. Although he's not from Philly, I believe he's from the Midwest. He used to manage Matt Hughes, a couple of the big names, Eddie Alvarez, Philly's own. Our own Eddie Alvarez. I'm not sure if he still does, but I'm friends with Monty Cox on Facebook. So Monty, if you're watching this, what's up? But he did a good job with some fighters back in the day. I mean, he was marketing fighters and he was like managing them back from like from like 2001 to about 2009, 2010. Although he still does that, but that's when he kind of changed around 2011. Things, IG came out a little afterwards. Facebook's already changing by then, so things kind of changed. And also, it's funny how post Zuffa, pre Zuffa UFC, it wasn't the same. After, like, they call the dark ages, like 98, 99, 2000. But by early 2001, when Dana White and the Fertitta brothers bought Zuffa, and created Zuffa and bought the UFC, it changed. The shows started going to AC, the coverage was different. It's like a whole world, man. So, I mean, I don't always agree with Dana White does, but, in this case, I got to say, they did a good job because they built this brand, and it's UFC's made 93, but they branded it in 2001.
Dana White is a great promoter. I mean, look at what he did with the UFC. Look at what he's done.
And he's still doing, by the way.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? He made a company that was, I mean, and I'm just going off of this just because of what I've seen from the documentaries, but he took a company that was bankruptcy. He asked the brothers to, hey, let's do this. It wasn't working, they tried. They got the Spike TV deal. They did all those things. The Ultimate Fighter, honestly, was what really, brought them from the ashes. I guess use that as a metaphor.
I know what you say, bro.
Then from there,
the UFC,
right, and then from there, he just kept doing different things. He's like, oh, well, this is working, boom, this is working, boom, this is working as well, boom, this isn't working, so let's stop this. That shows a great promoter. And then look at it now, to the point where the UFC was sold for what, $4.something million,
4.6 billion, like
that makes him an amazing promoter.
Well, he apparently Dana White apparently owns a little stake of the UFC, and he never sold. I think he might have sold a little bit, or maybe he had more than one stake, but I'm not sure that they sold it. He stayed as the president. He owns a little bit, although the owner is the guy that I believe the Indonesian guy, I think, or something. These investors come from Asia, bro. There are a lot of them, because a lot of them own soccer clubs, football clubs, or they're just club owners of big franchise teams around the world, not just in America. I mean, in Europe, in South America, in Asia and Africa, in Australia. So it's a market, but business and fighting is coming. It's always been one thing. I mean, the business of fighting, but now with these marketers, stakeholders, shares, guy that wants to buy shares and buy the promotions. Look at one. The guy that started one, he's trained Muay Thai and he's a black belt jiu-jitsu, but he wasn't a fighter until more recently. He was always like a promoter, and he just bought one, and he likes one.
I mean, dude, he's another guy that like, trust me, like when I started fighting again, like, there's a time where I took a leave off. Just because it was just hard to get opponents, man. Like I fight 125, 135. That's not that many people in the tri-state area that's that weight. And then, like, there was a point where Jackson Galka posted up like, yo, man, I got the toughest 125 out there. Who's gonna step up? And not one person stepped up. So you know what I'm saying? So it's hard. Like for me, it's a whole lot harder. Like I had to go out of state and all that, and that's most of that's my money.
For fights, right? Virginia, like Delaware. You have to go to Virginia and Delaware for fights.
Yeah. Dude, I had title fights in Florida and Pittsburgh. All that stuff costs a lot of money. And if I don't have the money, then I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So
see, that's right there. That's one of the struggles again. So I'm glad we mentioned. So it's like, never mind the training, the cutting weight, and you being a gym and wasting gas every day to go to Jersey, go to South Philly, because like you live, wherever you live in South Philly, right?
Yeah. Oh, we'll say it again.
Well, you live in South Philly right now, or no?
No, not right now. I used to live in South Philly, not right now.
Okay. See, I live in Northeast, and there's a gym that I go to. There's for example, there's you have NPR, which is in Bristol. You have a gym called Primal MMA, which is in Jersey. Phenomenal gym, but I know that to go there, you better have a quarter tank.
You also have Martinez BJJ up there.
Martinez BJJ. Shout out to Martinez brother. With them too. You have
North Philly. EFC and Dana Gracie's in North Philly. So
they're like one. Yeah, they're like one big. Well, they're two locations, but like one big team. You have Grindhouse up here with Matty 215. He's a friend of mine. IG. You have Let's Be Elite, which is around the corner from my house, which is probably stop by there one of these days. The old Rock MMA got changed. You have Simplify, which is connected to Daniel Gracie, Julio Rosario. You have a nice amount of gyms.
Now you have also the North Star MMA that's up in Germantown, which is where I train a lot at and teach. You have Royal Striking down in South Philly.
Royal Striking is a good one. I know my one friend goes there. My boy Jimmy was going there. I know Ryan Cafaro be there. A couple other guys that train like with the guy Justin Jay. He does Muay Thai, but there's guys that are fighting in Muay Thai promotions, Vision or Golden, and Glory, and then guys that doing MMA and Belt or UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, bro, like now there's a lot of gyms everywhere, so people can pick and choose. They can try each one of these gyms out and choose which one they like best. And sometimes one gym could do something better than the other, and you can just train in both. I mean, I train at North Star MMA, and I train at Beacon MMA. yeah, which is that one's at Cherry Hill. And the reason why is because those were my original head coaches from Gaddis before, Gaddis split up.
That's where they went, right?
Right. So when I'm getting ready for fight, I'll go between the two. Reason why is, I have right. I have my teammates and students that help me out in North Star, and then I have my other teammates that are, which is like Joe Lowry, Bobby Malcolm. We all those people over there that I train as well. Like those are my teammates. I have other teammates like, well, Latif Scott trains with Algio and Algio's gym. We have Matt Makowski that's in Royal Striking as well. Like I have my, we have my options. Always have my options.
That's the beautiful thing about this game, bro. A lot of options, and it's cool now that like not to cut you off or nothing, but it's cool that a lot of coaches don't care if you cross train, especially because then a lot of them know each other. So it's like
exactly,
if you're alone with both of them and you show you could be an asset, you can help them out, bring people in, train people, help the other fighters too, and it's not just using it just for the gym and that's it. And they're two different coaches that may not see each other all the time because one is South Philly, one is in Cherry Hill or Germantown, and like say like North Philly or West Philly. So now they're coming together and they're coaching it and you're winning titles. I see a lot of guys. I mean, they go to Florida, connect to American Top Team, go to Daniel Gracie's, to Almeida.
I mean, there was a few times where I wanted to move to Florida and just train up there, but I couldn't get a job that could have helped me pay for all that shit. So
it's about having the availability, accessibility, and also like having like a good situation for you. Like you have a nice job. Say the blessing happens. One of your jobs transfer you to Florida. Now you're right there. Fort Lauderdale and American Top Team is like 20 minutes away. Bingo. Right. You can go right there. You go to other gyms. The Black Zillions are in Florida somewhere. I mean, they're in South Florida. I mean, they're scattered. There's different gyms. And by the way, people are thinking, some people that don't know about this, they think it's like 08. Yeah, back in 08, there was like maybe one, maybe two American Top Teams. Now you have at least four, and the main one in Florida, which is Fort Lauderdale. You have one in Miami, one in South Florida. That's what Jorge Masvidal trains out of. So I mean, these gyms have expanded so much. All the coaches and the main fighters have opened their own branch of the gym. And
I believe they have an American Top Team in Fort Washington. I believe up here. I could be wrong.
PA. No, you're right. Unless it's not there anymore, but it's definitely used to be one there.
Okay, so they're not there anymore.
They might be there. I mean, I gotta check. I'm not sure they're still there. I think they might still be there because even like for example, Renzo Gracie's. You got Daniel Gracie here. You have Renzo Gracie, PA, somewhere out in PA, but not in Philly. Then you have one in New York, and you have other locations in Jersey.
Right,
Jersey.
Right.
I mean, the New York location is huge. You have Marcelo Garcia's gym in New York for BJJ and some good MMA too, but definitely strictly BJJ. Of course, MMA as well, but the BJJ, they're good at that. I mean, especially gi. NOD. So that's the dream. I mean, no matter if you're a fighter or not, even if you're just like mostly a fighter, not necessarily a grappler so much, you go there, you gotta check it out one time. He's Marcelo Garcia. He's one of like the Jordans of BJJ. He's up there. Actually, I follow him on IG as well. I don't follow a lot of competitors and fighters, but I follow him.
I mean, listen, like take it from me when I started out, like I'm a small guy, so a lot of big guys are always putting me on my back. So what did I do? I started looking up other things. I started noticing Eddie Bravo and all that. Then I saw that Eddie Bravo had a few hot boxes, which now they're actually gyms, but they have 10th Planet hot boxes. At one, there was one up in St. Joe's, and I used to go there every Tuesday. And I started getting my training, some of my training in and all that. And then eventually they got money in this. Then they opened up a gym in Bethlehem, right? And now I think
it's like an Eddie Bravo affiliated gym, like a 10th Planet gym.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I also have my training in with them too. Like I haven't done it recently, but if you'll ever see me grapple, you'll see I use a lot of 10th Planet shit. Why? Because there was a lot of times I was put on my back, so I don't know how to.
You're kind of wired. You're built almost like Eddie Bravo. I mean, probably a little more husky, but I mean, the thing is, when you're smaller, you got your back, you gotta be able to get your back and get on top of him, sweep him, and put him in the choke.
I'm lucky. I'm flexible. I'm lucky.
You're flexible for sure.
So it helps. It helps, man.
Yeah, it does, bro. To secure the guillotine, you do have a nice darce. I'm not sure to put your secrets away, but you have a nice darce.
I guess I know my number one submission definitely is the guillotine. But the darce is definitely in there, especially when I'm on top and half guard.
I like the darce.
Oh, best believe I'm a darce you. I'm gonna let you get that underhook, and I'm a darce your ass.
Get darced. Yeah.
And if I don't darce you, guess what? You opened up, and now I pass your guard. Now we're in side control. Now you ain't even worse shit. So
and it's worse because side control means a lot worse in MMA than it means in jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, yeah, you might get submitted, but you might escape. In MMA, there's a lot more you gotta do. You gotta watch about the punches and all that.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu, high-level jiu-jitsu practitioners, when they get into MMA, they forget that aspect. And like I forgot who said this, but you could be a black belt. When you get punched in the face, now you're a brown belt. And you get elbowed in the jaw, now you're a purple belt. And that shit keeps going down until you're a white belt.
Yeah, same thing. Even with the like with striking or Muay Thai, where you could be a Golden Glove boxer, some kind of Savat guy with the trunks or the gloves, or the Muay Thai guy with the trunks. You could be like a crew, and then you get punched and kicked and thrown on the ground, and now you're not really fighting off your back again, elbowed on the ground and submitted. You're like, okay, all that goes out the window now. You can be a great boxer with one hand.
Right, I mean, come on. If we're being realistic, we could put the highest level boxer against a mediocre kickboxer, and they're going to lose.
Most likely.
Honestly, let's put so far right now this day and age. Who's the considered the goat in boxing, which is Floyd, right? Put someone that fights at 145, 150. That's like just kickboxing. Let's put the boxing. Let's let him do all his boxing, and let the kickboxer do all his kickboxing. He's gonna knock Floyd the fuck out. Floyd's going to sleep. It doesn't matter what Floyd thinks he's gonna do. He's gonna slip. He's gonna feel that teeth in his stomach or that leg kick. He's gonna go, shit.
It's a different world.
That shit's not gonna work no more. And you're going to
hybrid rules. Correct. If it's a kickboxing type of rules, Muay Thai or any kind of kick is allowed, and hybrid rules, it's over. If it's MMA, it's gonna work.
It's over. And it's over. Literally, an amateur kickboxer could destroy Floyd. An amateur kickboxer with the same weight class could destroy Floyd.
Bro,
it don't matter.
If you fought Floyd in MMA, bro, and let's just say no takedowns, but just leg kicks, some clinch work, and maybe like a trip and then back up, you'd kill Floyd. I mean, all you got to do is throw him around.
He's done. He's done. Even in his prime. Even in his prime, he will be done. He will need to learn how to check a kick and block and stop teeps and sweeps.
They think it's easy, bro. When you get kicked with a teeth in the stomach or you get kicked in the side or the leg kicks come in, you're like, okay, never mind. All that boxers, I try to do it. I try to go back to kickboxing as a boxer because I'm like, I got nicer with the boxing and I was boxing a lot. And I fought and I couldn't get up my boxing like I wanted to because I wasn't kicking. Although I was a better kickboxer than the guy sparring, I was like, let me just fight as a boxer. And he was kicking me. I'm like, oh, what the hell, To box, a good kickboxer gonna keep you away or here, not here. It's hard because now I gotta kick. Yes. I gotta set him up to come in.
Remember, boxing is close to mid-range striking. Kickboxing is mid-range. Mid-range to long-range striking. Unless you're Muay Thai, and then where the elbows and the clinch come in, and that's another whole different ballgame. Because
between boxing and kickboxing range.
Right. Even just kickboxing, they don't clinch all the time.
Or so karate range.
Throw a Muay Thai guy in a boxing match and let them do dirty boxing. They're done. They're done against the Muay Thai guy because they don't know how to clinch.
No, they don't work.
Boxers can't clinch.
No, they can't clinch. They don't know how to get out of clinch. They're fucked.
They're done. I mean,
boxing, clinches in boxing. They tie you up just to get away from punches, to escape. They don't tie you up to strike you. Or
they do it to save themselves, and so that would separate them.
Do this.
And then they'll hold on again. That's it. Okay, you go ahead and do that to a Muay Thai fighter. Let's see what's going to happen to you. You're going to be like grab, and all of a sudden you're on the ground. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
I got one better for you. Let a boxer, or even let's like Floyd, do that and just kind of hold on. Like he might deflect and do this Philly shell and come close and do this to a judo guy. Then they'll kick a little. The judo guy's gonna do this and just gonna throw him.
They're just gonna toss him, right? Bro. For instance, let's look at the greatest counter boxers of all time in boxing, right? They used to rope a lot, right? Boom, boom, boom. You can't do it in MMA.
Nah.
You're gonna get destroyed. You're gonna get teeped. You're gonna get kicked. You're gonna get elbowed, and then you're gonna get taken down. Good luck with using the kick.
Or you're gonna get clinched.
Good luck trying to rope a dope. Because when you rope a dope, you're gonna realize you're flying up in the air, and the ring all of a sudden is upside down. You're on your head.
You might fall off the ring.
Don't work in MMA. You know what I'm saying? So, but once again, that's why they're different sports, and they have different rule sets. Like, I mean, I didn't even know you can't grab the back of the person's hand and hit him. I was like, oh, I can't do that. Damn. I mean, that's why one reason I like MMA. There's less rules. It's the closest to a street fight.
It's the closest to any fight, like pure contest between two men, or women, but let's just say men right now, since it started out as mostly a male-dominated sport. It's like the closest to like bare knuckle fighting, martial arts with no real rules. MMA is the closest one, especially MMA before it was really gloves allowed, when it was kind of like you can't wear gloves, but you don't wear gloves. See, now it's different because everybody wears gloves, but back then, or their rules were like a boxer could have like one glove, or they'll do a rounding boxing, run MMA, they'll take the gloves off. They had different rules, in the early 90s. They're doing it in Japan mostly, not so much in America. But I mean, now it's like you're fighting, and the closest thing is, again, it's MMA, and you have street fighting. You do have what's it called, the backyard MMA?
Yeah. I've seen that.
Fighting in the sand or in the grass. It's MMA in the street, but it's not street fighting. And you have.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I there's a few times, especially during this pandemic, I thought about hitting them up. You know what I'm saying? Because
me too. I thought about it.
Punch them fuck in the face, man. I mean, one of the main reasons I get into fighting is to not go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying not to get assault charges. what's the best thing you can do if you fighting all the time? Just become a fighter. Become a fighter and make money fighting. That's the best thing you can do. Whenever you stress, go to the gym, fight. You know what I mean? Spar. That does it all the time. I mean, right now, like I'm injured right now. So right now, you know, I'll be stressing sometimes. I got a fractured toe and I don't know what the hell I did to my left shoulder. I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. I got to get it checked out. That's one of the reasons, like I was hoping to get a fight around this time, you know, late spring, early summer. That's out the window now because I hurt my damn shoulder. I don't care about the toe. I could deal with the toe. I could deal with a fractured toe.
It's a shoulder, bro. It's like something small, like a small limb, like maybe like a finger, but it's not like a finger, like a little boo boo. Like, oh, come on, don't be a pussy. You're good. It's like your whole finger be fucked up, and if you really can't punch, I mean, you could be the best fighter in the world. You could be a mixture of Anderson Silva, Floyd, Connor, Crow Cup, Bruce Lee. If you have a bad finger, you can make a fist. Your fist is over. You have no hand. You have an elbow now. But now you have one punch, one hand.
Yeah, but that's cool. But that's why you have your forearm, so you don't have to land with your fist every time. Oh, you got an open palm. You just go and smack the shit out of them.
Well, yeah, in a fight, bro, if your hand breaks, I mean, you already know this, but I'm just saying for guys watching MMA and fighters, if your hand breaks, use elbows and use open strikes. If your hand gets swollen, I mean, shit, you just gotta survive the round. Don't get because he happened to Uriah Faber one time. He broke his hand and he threw elbow, and he was limited. And
that's the best part. That's the best part of knowing multiple martial arts. Boxers, once your hand's done, you're done. What can you do? You can't do anything.
No forearms, no wrist. You can't do open strike. You can't grab like kung fu. You can't really.
Yeah, but boxers don't think like that.
You can't kick.
You know who think like that? People that started fighting in the streets and got into boxing. They're the only ones that don't think like that. People that just got into it just to box, they don't think like that.
Yeah. Those guys are the best ones. Guys that start in the streets and maybe even like this, like some prison fights or whatever, and then like you know they did fights like all around, no rules fights or whatever, like street fighting and all that, and just basically you know. Brawl fights, you know, barrage call it fighting, and then they got into MMA or boxing because whatever the aggression they had, they learned it from the streets, from fighting for money, whatever. And again, even that, another thing is the Toughman contest. They're between like brawling, fighting, and MMA. It's almost like the street beats, but they were going on in the 80s and 90s. Man, back in the day, you could do Toughman contests. It was pretty much like almost like boxing. Some of them were called Toughman fights, which is only hands. Some of them were Toughman contests. You could grab a little, grab the face and punch. You could elbow. I think you could like throw some knees, but it was still more strikers. There wasn't a lot of like grapplers or guys that are properly trained. But I know Ken Shamrock did those, Frank Shamrock, and a couple guys, you know, coming up did those kind of things. You know, a couple fighters. You know what I mean? I think I want to say maybe the Undertaker might have done a couple of those because remember the Undertaker was a huge MMA fan. Like even when he was like,
I saw when he had his gloves on and everything when all that everything. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. He'd go to UFC events. He'd go to the fight. He would be like around fighters. So and even said if I was younger, I would have done it. Because him and Brock Lesnar would have been a hell of a fight because they didn't like each other. So an actual MMA fight, not a pro wrestling match with some crazy rules like hardcore match wrestling. An MMA fight. They don't like each other. They're not the same age, you know, but they're the same size, you know, but it never happened because obviously, you know, the Undertaker was a little too old. Brock fought in MMA. He did well, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he did well.
But then
using his size, he did well using his size and aggression. But what happened every time he went up against someone who was way more technical than him? I finished.
Exactly, and that's the thing. They will call you out in MMA. They will scout you out, bro. See, it's not in boxing or in kickboxing. Or sometimes the bigger guys have a career. They make him a career, but when you fight a guy, because it's too diverse. What if you fight a good grappler, is strong, and can just pull him, pull guard and submit him, or bottom. MMA is too unpredictable. It's easier to dominate in boxing, kickboxing, and I would say toughness sports, or even like you know. Muay Thai maybe, but in MMA it's not as easy to dominate because there's too many ways to lose.
Look, you could be the better striker, but the person could be the better grappler. Or you could be the the better striker and the better grappler, but you don't know how to mix the two. And your opponent could be worse. Like for instance, let's use an instance of let's use stats, right? Let's use person A and person B, right? Let's say person A's striking level is 80%. His grappling is like 75%, right? And then but his how to mix it up is like 50%. Because he's either striking or he's grappling. Then you got person B whose striking is like 60%. His grappling could probably be like 70%, but his in the middle of mixing it up is probably like an 80-90. He's 90% of the time wins. Why? Because he go hit, he'll switch into attack. Boom! Once he defends, he goes right back to hitting. Like that's part of the skill of MMA. There's a lot of high level strikers and a lot of high level grapplers that can't mix the two. They're either striking or they're grappling. You know what I mean? For instance, let's use Kobe Covington, man. Kobe Covington is great at mixing it up. They're using some bitch ass punches to use his amazing wrestling to control you, manhandle you, and when he feels like he's about to lose it, he'll go right back to his striking. He's great at mixing it up.
He's like a typical like mixed fighter. He could grapple, he could strike, he could wrestle a little, he could do a little kicking, he can mix it up really well. Some people are better strikers, and they can mix it up a little here and there. But once you get like you pass the guard, you come close to the legs, you take them down, they're a fish out of water. I mean, not for nothing. I hate to have to bring this up, but I mean, and I love Izzy Adesanya, but look at
I was actually about to use him next. Yes.
Unfortunately, he's more of a K1 type of kickboxing style striker, style fighter, but in the mixing up part, he needs a little work because with the wrestling, he wasn't far. He could have beat.
I mean, look, he's one of the guys that his striking, and we're using like a video game percent, stat. It's probably like 90, 92, right? His grappling is probably like at 50. So let's give him a, because he defended against some good wrestlers. Let's give him 60. Let's give him 60% for his grappling, right? But he's not good at mixing it up. He's not. He just learned how to utilize his strength to win. But what happened when he went up against John Paul, whatever the hell the Polish power guy? What happened? He was too strong and he took him down. And there was nothing he could do.
Yo, I'm sorry, bro, but I was disappointed because let me tell you something, right? People keep want to compare Izzy to like Anderson Silva and like other strikers like Chuck Liddells or whatever, you know what I mean?
Anderson Silva's a black belt.
Well, Anderson Silva is a much better grappler, a black belt.
Yes, he's a black belt. So is Jose Aldo. They're black belts.
Jose Aldo's another one. Aljamain Sterling.
Right, but here's the problem with those three. They suck at mixing it up. They suck at it. They're either striking or they're grappling. Oh, what grappling?
they were really well rounded, but yeah, they couldn't mix it up.
Yes, they were high level at both aspects, but the middle aspect, which is the mixing it up, they sucked at.
GSP is a great one to mix it up. GSP and BJ Penn for real.
GSP is amazing at mixing it up. GSP started out Shooter-ko karate. He is a striker. He started out striking. He realized after Man Hughes, that kind of sucks. I got to work on my wrestling. What did he do? He just focused on nothing but wrestling and mixing his striking to his wrestling. Yeah, towards the end of his career, he realized I could just out wrestle a guy and not get hurt and still win. I'm just going to do that. But guess what? Everyone knew he was going to do it, and they couldn't stop him. They couldn't do shit.
Talking about GSP, right?
Yes, they couldn't do shit against his wrestling.
GSP
even people that started out as wrestling couldn't do shit against his wrestling. Why? Because when he realized he was going to lose it, what did he do? He started smashing your face in with ground and pound, which made you forget, I got to defend his wrestling. Boom, then he uses wrestling to pass side control. And then he'll use his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Because he
was good at mixing it up.
He submitted Matt Hughes. Like GSP was one of the best guys at mixing it up. And again, it's called shoot and box. Like you shoot and you box. You boxing, you're kickboxing, you're shooting in, you're using takedowns, and that's where mixing it up with the whole term. Again, you have grapplers, strikers, guys that are kind of not good at either, kind of a little between. And you have guys that can mix it up. A guy that can mix it up is a well-rounded mixed fighter. A guy between, a guy like I don't know. I mean, like I could throw, maybe those guys that like not Kobe Covington. Let's just say let me think, like BJ Penn's boy Tony DeSouza, or what's his name, like freestyle Forrest Griffin. He wasn't a striker or a grappler. Couldn't really mix it up, but he was good though. Somehow, because he was tough and he could just do enough to get the win. He was like, he was.
Bro, look at Mike Perry. Mike Perry he's a tactical brawler. That is what he is.
Diego Sanchez is a great grappler though, but
yeah. Diego Sanchez is more of a grappler. He's an amazing grappler. Diego Sanchez is an epiphany of a fighter. He is a fighter.
I fucking love
whether you break that man's arm or not. Same thing with the Diaz brothers. Whether you fuck them up or not, they're fighters. They're fighters. In their head, they're like, damn, he's better than me in this. But I gotta whip his ass anyway, so I gotta figure this out. Anyway. Those are fighters. Those are fighters. They're not athletes. They're fucking fighters.
Well, actually, these brothers will be athletes only for the fact they do triathlon. So I have to say that.
But that's their conditioning.
Yeah.
That's their conditioning. You know what I'm saying?
They don't play basketball, skateboard. No. We though.
I mean, they're not athletes. They're not athletes. They're fighters.
They're athletic, but not athletes. They're athletic.
Yes, they're not athletes, but they're fighters. Like that's that's what I was saying earlier. You have your fighters, you have your athletes, and then you have your like martial artists or your what I said earlier. Your
Competitors.
tactical fighters. Those are martial,
Yeah. Competitors. I guess you could say
competitors. There you go.
right?
Competitors.
Martial
Those
artists
are
and
the 3 brackets. And at the end of the day, everyone fits in one of those.
athletes.
Everyone fits in one of those. Like Anderson Silva, he's a martial artist. He's a competitor. He's in that bracket. You got GSP. He's in that bracket. They're the competitors. You got the Diaz brothers. You got Max Holloway. Those are fighters. You got
Tony Ferguson.
Paul Felder, fighter. Joe Lowry, fighter. Those are people that the shit hits the fan. They're like, I'm gonna just bite down on my mouthpiece and I'm gonna try and knock you out.
Fighter competitor. That's what Tony is. Tony's a very. He's kind of because he's got the. But see, also competitors in spirit. Not just competitors to compete. Because some people.
Tony is a competitor. Tony's he's a martial artist. He's a competitor.
Yeah,
he's in the same category as GSP. He's in the same category as Anderson Silva. He's one of those guys. You got Anderson Silva. He is a tactical fighter. I mean, Izzy Adesanya. He's tactical. He's tactical.
Yeah.
What happens when he gets in a fight or something? My man's gonna run away to reset. That's what look at the prime example when he went up against Joel Romero.
Yeah. He didn't fight.
My man hit him one time, boom, he said, fuck this.
Joel Romero caught him overhand and he fucking shocked him and said, oh, you know what? He said he fought him tit for tat. The cheap, the people score is cheap. I think it's cool to win like that, but you got to do a little more too. But here's the thing. Against Romero, easy said than done because you don't want to over exchange and leave yourself open because he was kicking him and moving out the way a lot.
Right.
And that's how Usman fought Masvidal the first time. Kind of he hunched.
Masvidal is a fighter. He's a fighter.
He's a fighter.
He's a fighter.
Fighter.
Then you got Usman. You got Usman. Usman is an athletic competitor. He's athletic. He's an athlete.
He's an athlete. Power.
That's what he is. He's athletic. The athlete just beat the fighter that day. That's both those times. That's what happened. So, shit is what it is.
It is what it is, bro. Now, see, I like this conversation where it's going with this. Now, let's talk about some of the main fighters. Now, I mean, I'm not going to ask you what are your top fighters, but just some fighters, like, give me some of your top 5 fighters in no particular order that, you maybe came up under, or you kind of like, you watch a little, you always said that, like, yo, these guys, I kind of like it for some reason, All
right, I mean, in MMA, I'm going to give you fighters that I study a lot. I study GSP. I still study GSP because he's just so amazing at mixing it up. I study Kobe Covington. I study Max Holloway, and let me see, who's the other person? I mean, I used to. One of my favorite fighters though is Jose Aldo. I mean, the thing about Jose Aldo is just he's the king. He's the king of Rio, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I got into it, I mean, I think it was right afterwards. That's when WEC got bought off by UFC. And then they started bringing them in.
Right. He merged. He merged. Man, he became a champion in 2011, and he had the title for like 5 years, but he was undefeated for 10 years before Conor knocked him out. And let's be real, he knocked him out with one punch. It was like 12 seconds, 13 seconds.
Right. But Conor did his thing. Conor got in his head, man. Conor did his thing. Conor pisses people off, so that way it throws you all completely out your game, and then they're nervous because you get an adrenaline dump before you even fight. It happened to me in my last fight, man. Just because I read one thing. A bull said, "Oh, I'm gonna knock him out the first round." I said, "This nigga could even knock me out the first time. What makes him think he got destroyed the first time? What makes him think he going?" So then what happened? I mean, it worked with me. I mean, I don't even think it was his intention. I think he was just saying just to say it. But what happened to me? Every time I backed him up against the cage, I backed up and went right back to the middle. I was like, no, I want to go right back to the middle because I want to see who's going to knock who out.
You should test his skill. He's trying to win on points because a lot of guys do that. After they see they can exchange the shoe, oh, you know what? Let's stick in the middle and they'll lounge you in. They'll make you lure you out to shoot in on you because that's what they do. They want to shoot in.
Right, bro. Listen, everyone that steps in with me.
I remember you bro, drop your hands and just catch.
I turned everybody into a wrestler. I'm being serious.
Right.
I mean, you said it yourself. I had a whole lot harder than my size is.
Oh yeah. I know. Yo, guys, real quick. I'm not just fucking saying that. Riding my homie here, riding his dick like that, because we actually meet him spar. But yeah, he hits hard. He hits harder than he looks. Don't never let the size fool you guys, because people.
I mean, listen, if they want to know, they can always come to the gym and find out.
You could drop down. You could drop dudes who are 180, close to 100 pounds. I've actually heard guys who are 200 pounds with light kicks to the body, with jabs. One time I sparred a dude. He cracked me right here, bro, with a straight and boxing gloves, by the way, but small gloves, maybe like 10 ounces. It wasn't like 14 ounces. And he he literally felt like he cracked my freaking skull, like my cranium. So I caught him with the left, and he said that left hurt him. Then I kicked him in the body. I dropped him, and this dude fight at 205 now. I fight at like 170, maybe 180, but I'm 170 right now. Like I fight at 70. So I want to got bigger, but I dropped him. I rocked him with a hook because he cracked me. I mean, he cracked me. I'm gonna lie. I felt like I saw like my skull. He caught me straight right here when the front cortex. So it fucked me up. Like, oh shit. I said okay. I caught him, but again, like you said, he wasn't going hard. But we're naturally big dudes, and he was like about at the time he's like maybe an inch taller than me, but at the time he was like 180, 185. Now he's like 200. He's bigger now, and I'm like 180 something now. But I fight at 70. So when I caught him, I stepped out, I caught him with a left hook because I couldn't stand toe to toe with him. He was just too big, and I kicked him. I just said, fuck me in the boxer. I'm a striker, and I'm a mixed martial artist and a martial artist. So I kicked him, bro. Rigid kick to the body. I didn't break his rib because I'm not gonna brag about that, but I heard him. He dropped. He's like, oh man. He's like, yo, he kicked me something. I never seen a kick before. That's what happened. He's part G, bro. When you go against me, not for nothing, but I'm better when I look. And I mean, again, sometimes with me, you gotta wake me up a little, and wake me up. I mean, like you gotta tag me a little. When you tag me, like, okay, I get a little more serious, but not serious when I want to hurt you. Just serious when I want to make it a fun match, a fun situation. That's all. Because it's an experience. You live and you learn. I was better after I sparred True the first time, and then we sparred hundreds of times in the past. Then we sparred with Lewis, and that was probably less time, like in 2017. And at that point, both of us were somewhere else, and 4 years later, we're even older now. We're both around close to 33. So
yeah. I mean, bro, I could tell you stories like, I mean, let me tell you the two people that punched me the hardest ever in my life. It doesn't matter if it was a fight or not.
Right.
The first person ever that when he hit me, I was like, God damn, this motherfucker! I gotta kill this motherfucker. Was Cheesesteak. Cheesesteak, man. We were sparring. I know he was hitting me like, cause he was just like, wow. But let me tell, I don't know if he was timing that shit right. I don't know what it was.
Because the timing gives you power.
This motherfucker, when this motherfucker hit me, boom, I was like, God damn, this shit fucking hurt. Fucking bitch. I was like, yo, listen, I've been a lot of street fights.
Hurts,
I've been hit by different weight classes. Like, I mean, look, I'm not mentioning no names, but there's been a lot of heavyweights and people heavier than me. I stand right in the pocket with them because I'm used to street fight. I'm used to knuckles. There's gloves. Thank you for protecting me, homie. I appreciate it. Now I'm gonna stand in the pocket with you because I'm not afraid to get hit. But let me tell you, there's about 4 guys that I'm trying not to get hit by. Cheesesteak, Dave Roberts. Yo, Dave Roberts is about my size. I think he fights at 135 and 145. But I sure as hell don't want to get hit by his goddamn cross. This man one time was like, it was like a technical slow ass cross. And I was like, whatever. Boom. My man hit my forehead. I saw that flash. My hand went back. I said, this son of a bitch, this is about to be a fucking fight. That's how hard that man hit.
Before, bro. I've been there before. Yeah, I know, right?
That's how hard that man hit. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, he's also built like a goddamn, like a chiseled marble at the same time. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This man hit so goddamn hard.
The hardest I've been hit in a fight, it actually was in an MMA fight. I didn't get that hard because I kind of like dodged a lot of it. So I take the guy down. I got hit one time with a
bro. I fought at 125, 135. I'm so used to sparring people that are 185. I mean, for instance, one of my main training partners, Paul Sims, he fights at 170 pounds, and I stay in the pocket with him. You know what I'm saying? When you go up against that weight class, and then you go up against your weight class, and they touch you, you kind of laugh, and you just disrespect them a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're bringing it back, bro. I'm telling you, but this is music to my ears. That's exactly what it is. When you get hit, you're like, yo, I can feel nothing. I spark guys like, I ain't gonna say no names, but my man Matt Hill, other guys, bigger dudes out there. I mean, I've seen guys in the gym sparring. I roll the big guys. And I know sometimes they don't go hard because, they're like, oh, he's smaller. But I'm not an asshole when I spar. I make it fun. I'm going to take you a little just to make you like, come on, bro. Just, hit me a little. I might drop my hands and let you hit me to see how hard I hit. You drop your hands, but you do something. You on Eric Jones, so you be like this. You come here, you catch it, you come back with it. So you slick with that. But
my boxing, bro. Remember, I started out boxing, so I box y'all.
You got the boxing sweat. You're like a boxer, kickboxer, and you can strike, you can kick. I mean, and that's the whole thing. But it's cool to do trauma a little. And again, I tell people, if you want to taunt you, I'm going to do it because you have a fight. The guy might taunt you. So I'm going to do it to help you out. I'm not going to taunt you to be a jerk because, I mean, unless somebody I don't know off the street, which I'll be, by the way, me and you both be the dentist, meaning the guy that beats up the hitman of the gym. When assholes come in and want to be thugs, you would just beat them the fuck up. Like I was choking dudes out. I was
listen, bro. I enjoy hurting people. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy doing it. I like to see the soul comes out of people's faces when they realize I fucked up. I love to see that. I love that fuels me. I feel like call me literally this. I mean, there's one time this hooligan in the street, wanted to attack me. I tried to whatever. He wanted to come at me. He got warned and he got stunned. Weapon when one of the shots said, bro, you bring this upon you. I don't know what's gonna happen to you, but I'm gonna tell you this: you're gonna call me uncle. And what happened?
You're breaking
We were in the ground. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Nah, this is what you brought upon you. Call me Shang Tsung, bitch, because I'm gonna take your soul." Wham, 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 until he was unconscious. Then I walked away because I know you're gonna shoot me or not. This is the streets. I don't know you.
Yeah,
I'm making sure you're unconscious before I walk away. But once again, that's the self-defense scenario. Yeah, I don't. This is why, like I said in the beginning, this is why I into fighting. I enjoy fighting. I enjoy violence. This is my shit. I grew up doing this with my brother all my life.
I'm the same way, bro. I like competition a little bit. I like, to me, it's not, I don't even look at it as violence. I look at it as a nice competition. I guess I feel more like, again,
it's controlled chaos.
Control chaos.
And I love being the man that controls the chaos.
But I like a little bit, I mean, get down and dirty a little. I mean, I enjoyed like a nice little, like it's almost like he makes me excited, bro. I can't just get up in the morning and not think about there's no fights at all, no training at all. And I mean, it's hard when you retire and all that, when you don't fight no more. I mean, you gotta find something you like to do, but it's like, what is it to look up to if you don't really go in there? I still go to the gym and train a little, spar, hit the bag a little, because that never goes away. The feeling, the like, the wanting to do and going in there, sparring a little, that the competitive spirit in you, the fighting spirit never goes away, bro. Just that your body doesn't feel the same,
Bro, listen, I know whether, I'm retiring in 36, so I got a few more years left. From fighting, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to fight. I'm still going to fight. There's no way in hell I'm not going to fight. I will go insane if I'm not fighting. It's in my DNA. It's in my DNA. I've done it all my life, and it's part of my ancestors. It's in our DNA. We're fighters. We're warriors. This is what we do. This is impossible. It's impossible for me to just come home, work, come home and watch TV. That's impossible. That is the most boringest thing in the goddamn world. People that do that, I don't understand why. Yo, come up with a hobby. You better go fishing. You better do something. Because you just come home. You just come home and watch TV.
Not like fighting.
If you come home and watch TV, you're already dead, homie. You dead in my eyes. I don't even want to be your friend. Seriously, I don't. I don't want to even be your friend. Like, I mean, I have family members like that. Don't get me wrong, but
I just can't. Nah, it's boring, bro. I'm trying to hit the gym after this, bro. Yo, I'm telling you, bro, it doesn't feel the same. Even if I'm doing weights, I'm okay with that. I can shadow box in the gym a little, working your body. That's cool. It's chills. But every gym I go to, gotta have a punching bag. If the gym got no punching bag whatsoever, all right, peace. I'm out. Like,
I mean, bro. Relationship wise, man. Like every girl always wants to date a fighter until they actually date a fighter. And they're like, yo, well, you never here, you never around. You know shit.
It's hard.
What do you think? Why do you think I'm fucking like what? This is my job. Like, what do you think?
I think I'm always never home because it takes a lot of time. You gotta be very selfish with your time as a fighter. See, some girls don't understand that it's hard to be.
All girls don't understand it. The only girls that understand it are female fighters.
Yeah, right. Or I mean, if a girl understands it, she's a rider. Because some girls support you, understand it, but only girls are like your Adrienne or the girl from the movie. What's the movie? The Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Remember his wife in the movie? She got killed in that one scene with the gun and all because they're fighting with a dude that was talking shit to him. But a girl like that, like if you're a fighter and you're rich, you got a girl like what they call like a queen or a really nice woman that got your back. They may understand it, but then even that, it's hard when you got kids. I mean, you trying to sleep at night. You know what I mean? It's heavy kids, not that, I mean, as a fighter, it slows you down a little, not all the way. I mean, it's not like a liability, but it can be.
Right. I mean,
this guy,
for instance, look at Usman. Usman is like, I got to constantly let his baby girl know why daddy's gone for months because he's training. You know what I'm saying? He's in a whole different state. He lives in Florida and he trains in Denver. That's a sacrifice you gotta make. That's a sacrifice a fighter makes, and his family gotta accept, because they're sacrificing too. They're sacrificing their I don't know what's the saying, but like their good years. They're missing it with
they're good. Yeah, the quality time. They're good years.
Yeah, I'm saying that they're missing it. Why? Because he's doing his thing. He's following his dream. And he's doing his job. There's not a lot of women that can do that. I mean, it's understandable. You know what I mean? Women need attention, just like guys need attention, right? So it makes a lot of sense when a woman can't. When they're done, that's it. They're done. There's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? I don't know why War Machine went a little crazy, but bro, you think a porn star? Like, what you thought was gonna happen?
Oh, he was fucking weird, but yeah, that's a whole different story. He went a little, but he had a really fucked up upbringing. He was a really problem. I mean, again, MMA has exceptions too. Not everybody's an honorable, a fighter with honor, a top dude, or whatever. Because most fighters, you love your woman, you protect your girl. He went in and did what he did because he's already fucked up in his head, and he was dating a porn star. She cheated on him. They all got caught up. Again, we all have our
porn star. You dating a porn star? What do you think is gonna happen?
What do you think is gonna happen, bro?
Her job is to fuck other men, just like his job was to beat the shit out of other men.
Punch me in the face, right?
Fuck. If you dating a porn star or a stripper, you better accept some fucked up things, because that's their job. Their job is to show off and sell their body, show off their body to other men and women.
By definition, it's prostitution. You're using your body to get money, you know, whatever. So I mean, that's just what it is, you know. It's
but we do the same thing. If that's the case, we sacrifice our body and our youth and our health to give other people's entertainment.
We're entertainers. We're modern day gladiators. So we are, bro. People don't grab.
So your definition, that's prostitution too.
Yeah, you know, you get there half naked with some gloves and mouthpiece, and you're just fighting and you're beating the shit out, beating the brain.
Literally, we got out there with gloves and underwears, beating the shit out of each other.
Not even shoes.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
A uniform consists of gloves, a mouthpiece. If you're lucky, you're fighting in some kind of small event where they're like amateur, they might give you headgear, probably not. I mean, you have shin pads, but that's about it. And then you're half naked and you're brawling it. Primate behavior, just to make the best win. I mean, yeah, it's the most pure for competition, you know.
That's what we do. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, man. Yeah, when you think of it like that, you're like, wow, man, we really do like a different, you know, it's a whole different sport, man. But no, I hear you, man. I hear you. What was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, so I know some people were asking no questions, and people were DMing me like, yo, you guys don't talk about this and that. Obviously, you know, I've been talking about some of the promotions, and I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. We don't got to spend much time on this before we kind of end it. But obviously, UFC is the main promotion for MMA. You have Bellator and One, which are bringing up, you know, making noise. Bellator's been out for a while. UFC's been around for a long time, but you know, I wish they could bring Pride back in some of the rules, but it's gonna be, I think, in One they got some of those.
You think of Pride, think of that's they got Rising now. Right. I don't even know if that's still going on. I have no clue.
Do you watch Rising like that, or
not really? No. I watched CFFC. Why? Because teammates and myself being in there. I watched.
I've been around this show. I've seen the show live. It's a good show.
I try to watch more regional stuff because they're my damn competition and my teammates' competition. So
exactly,
I gotta watch the victims. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta watch who you might cross paths with. You know, you gotta go to events. Simple as that.
Exactly. And obviously the three top promotions, which is UFC. I'm so glad that ONE FC is in TNT now. That's awesome. Thank you, TNT. TNT, you ever see this? I appreciate you for getting ONE FC. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we got Bellator. Where are they at now? Paramount? I don't know what the hell. Something like that.
Do they not really like premiere? You know, I mean, it's hard to see, like, you know, when they got events, because, you know, they don't really show the event. Do they still have a pay-per-view?
I think so. I don't know. I usually watch it a few days afterwards because I'm working while all that stuff's going on. So.
Yeah, we don't really get to watch a lot of fights. I'll be honest. I was able to catch a less UFC, but it was good. I mean, the finish of Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, that was a good finish. He got rocked.
Yo, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. Yeah. Everyone asked me who I had picked. I picked Michael Chandler. I picked Michael Chandler to win. Why? Because my man is small, athletic, and explosive. And I was like, yo, and not only that, in the past, I've seen Charles Oliveira when he goes up against someone like Chandler, he quits. But in this fight, my man did not quit. My man dropped. My man went out.
It's my man different Oliveira, bro.
My man dodged. My man almost finished Chandler with a submission. Chandler exploded and almost finished him right back.
And then that was around.
I was in the listen. That card, that fight, the main event fight, and the Barboza fight. If I was to introduce MMA to somebody, those would be the two fights I would introduce them that are up to date. If I want to introduce someone that I want to see difference in skill levels, I will show them the last Max Holloway fight. I'm like, this is what happens when you hit a certain pinnacles and you're just in the flow. Because he was just, there was no there was no strategy there. That was just pure fighting. He was moving with straight instincts.
He said, best boxer, baby. And he's just hitting him. He was crazy, dude. That's how I fuck
with straight instincts. Listen, I want to spar Max Holloway. I want to experience being in the cage or the ring with him. Not to see who's better. I just want to experience.
I just want to experience that, bro.
Like that. I just want to experience that. I want to experience going up against Wonder Boy. Everyone's always like, some of my teammates, but no, I don't want to do that. I want to sit down and talk to them. Cool, that's you, homie. I'm a fighter, so I'm trying to get in there, fight him.
Yeah, But see,
whether it's nice and controlled, I want to know. I want to know what I can do against someone with that skill, height, reach,
feel like
advantage. What would they do against
exactly.
what I can do?
It just you don't test yourself, but it's not a bad thing. It's not like, I mean, if I say that I'd love to spar like a GSP, Kobe Covington, even Anderson Silva, who I met by the way, like these guys.
I want to spar Jorge. I want
Jorge,
or George Miles. I want to spar him. These are people that I want to spar.
He's my weight class. But it's a respect thing. I actually like this guy. If I think he's a 20 fighter, I'll be like, you know what? I don't interested sparring with him. If he happens, man. But if I say I want to spar him, that means I'm actually a supporter. I'm actually kind of I'm nobody's fan, but I'm kind of a fan of these guys if I want to spar him. Not because I'm.
Yeah, look, the way I'm saying it is how for those that watch anime, how Goku says it. When Goku goes, "Oh, I want to fight the strongest in the world." That is my mindset.
It's a samurai spirit.
These people are people that caught my attention, and these are people that I want to spar for specific reasons. That's why, like, there's other people that I'm like, I would never spar them. Screw that. F that. Whatever. Like, I would never spar Joel. I would never spar Joel Romero. F that man. That man. F that man. That man's. I want to look like him at his age. That man is 44 years old, in better shape than me. My man is built like a goddamn gladiator. He's like, and he does backflips
like this,
shit.
bro. He's like, yo,
bro,
different. You come here. I saw you said Cuba. Yeah, Michael.
I want to be him at his age, but I don't want to spar him.
He's 44.
But I do want to spar Max Holloway. I do want to spar Wonder Boy. I do want to spar Jorge.
What about
Conor McGregor? Spar Jose. I do want to spar these people. These people I want to spar.
Jose,
I want to spar Izzy. Izzy Adesanya.
He's huge. You know what?
Like, he's gonna whip your ass. So the fuck what? I still want to spar him.
The point.
I want to spar him like 10 rounds.
Stop the ass whipping.
I'm not there to win the fight. I'm there to spar. So that's listen, man. I say this to my students all the time. There's two ways to be super intimate with someone. That's fucking and fighting. That's it. Those are the two most intimate things you can do with someone.
Like I put, that's true, but yeah.
Those are the two most intimate things you can do with someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I need to. These are some certain experiences that I want to experience. I want to go in there and just spar this man. I don't want to get.
I want to do that, bro. Imagine, like, you pick up like in 2 weeks, you have a bunch of money. They give like a G saved up, so you're still going to Vegas to have fun, like, bullshit around and look at girls in bikinis and go chill and do the Sin City things. You go out there and you do like a mini camp. You train. You go to AKA, which is down in California, not that far, maybe a couple hours away, and then you go to 3 different gyms and UFC gym in Vegas, and then you just train and spar guys. That's right. What I'm trying to do. Like, save money to go out there to train, not just to go out there for fun. Although I want to go, and have a little vacation too. But if I'm going to Vegas, bro, I'm going to I'm meeting Forrest Griffin.
Sanchez, my bad, interrupt you. Sanchez, another person I want to spar.
Sanchez is amazing. Yo, whoa.
Like, we all know he's going to whip my ass. I don't care about that.
He's all technique, bro. But yeah.
We're playing. We want to see our skills and techniques.
Right. It's just a competitive, controlled controlled chaos game. It's controlled. Right. It's not animosity per se. I want
to look. The fact that I respect these people so much is the reason I want to spar them so much.
Exactly.
It's like I'm like that. I'll be like that emoji with the star on his face. Like, that's me. Yeah, that's you're like, I get to spar this man. Like, that's how I get. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, bro. I'm the same way, man. It's like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just part of who we are. Because if it was the other way around, then we wouldn't be fighters. We wouldn't be having done this to talk about this.
Right.
Doing something different, But so I mean, if you don't feel that way, if you're a fighter, then something wrong. Every fighter that I know that's actually a real fighter that says that, whether they're a fighter, a competitor, a martial artist, as long as they compete there in MMA, they'll be like, yo, it'll be a great honor. Who would say no to sparring Silva or just working with him, like getting some pointers, or GSP, or John Jones even, or Max Holloway, Conor.
I mean, bro, my favorite person to spar is Joe Lowry. He is my favorite person to spar. Why? Because we're literally staying in the pocket, just murking each other, and at the same time we start calculating and just making each other miss, and boom, boom, and then we're like, oh wait, this is not working. Let's try this. And then we start trying different things, and certain things will land, and we go, oh, and we both talk shit to each other as we're sparring. Like, that's just our hood street mentality. We start boom, boom. Oh, you're gonna hit me like that, bitch? I got you. Boom, and then we go right back at like. That's why he's my favorite person to spar.
When we talk shit, bro, it's almost like a friendly thing. Like, for example, me and you, even if you do know each other that well, but we're kind of cool, it'll be more like It's just either for the time being, like light trolling, or just a competitive thing. Like we're bros. At the end of the day, we're chilling, drinking a beer together, shaking hands. It's when you don't know the guy and he's just gonna be a douchebag, or if he's in a fight and you don't know the guy like that, and he's obviously beating you, then you gotta beat him. But what happens? You spar somebody you like, say like you in the future you do fight Max Holloway, and you guys know each other through the fight game or whatever. He met you before, right? Just speculation, and he took shit to you, and you're like, yo, I grew up kind of liking this guy, and although I kind of like him, I gotta whoop his ass. You know what? I don't give a fuck about his taunt. Ah, come on, man, let's go, let's fight, boy. Boom, catch him. Like it doesn't have to be like nothing violent. Whereas it's like animosity. Like for example, you drop him, you're not gonna stop him in the face now because to be a douche because you hate him. It's just that the competition you makes you talk a little shit. So talking shit is always a bad thing. It depends how you do it.
I mean, listen, when I was living in South Philly, it was me, Joe Lowry, and Bobby Malcolm living with each other. Bobby's more of the laid back type of guy, right? Me and Joe, we butt heads all the time. Literally, like, we fought so many times living together, like fought in the street, fought. Like so many times living with each other. And then when we're done. We go back inside. I'm like, bro, what you want to eat? He goes, I don't know.
Exactly.
He goes, but I want to watch this movie. Mind you, we have like a black guy and a fucking bloody nose, but we're done. We did what we needed to do. And we do the same thing while we're sparring. Like when we're in the ring, when we're sparring, especially when one of us got a fight coming up, we're trying to improve each other, think of everything possible our opponent could do. And then let's say I hurt him and he's backing up. I'm like, yo, why you backing up? You gonna let your opponent back you up like this? Fuck you, bitch. And he goes, right, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what we do. And then afterwards, guess what? We go on, we get some food, and we start laughing. Like I think I'm closer to Joe Lowry. I feel like he's more of my brother than my actual brother. Even though but it's just me and Joe Lowry we have that connection. Right, we have that connection of that fighting that bond. That you know what I'm saying? Like that I can't really explain, but it's like an intimacy type of thing. That when you connect punches with each other,
connect, and it's the most manly thing there is, bro. Fighting. So you guys are forever brothers through the
fighting. You know what? Like I guess for those that aren't fighters, the best way I could describe this is watch when Naruto and Sasuke fight each other as kids on top of the river and they're hitting each other, and then all of a sudden they're like, it's like a white background. They're understanding each other's thoughts. That's exactly how it is when me and Joe spar each other. I can't call it fighting, but that's exactly how it is when we spar each other. It's that type of connection that you get when you train and you fight and you spar with your teammates. You get that type of connection.
I know what you're saying, bro, because that's the thing I feel when we used to spar, and like me and Mo, Moses and Lewis and the other guys out there. I mean, my man Frank, even you when we spar, my other friends, my man Cozy. Like if we spar, it's like even if we're bleeding, I don't mind cracking a friend. I'm cool with it if he does the same thing to me, and we know at least we know each other, and we know, listen, you're gonna crack me, I'm gonna crack you, and it is what it is. It's like when you don't know and you go heavy and you don't know the person and you guys can talk about, let's go heavy. That's when it should start. But if you know, and if you guys train daily and fuck each other up, it's all good, bro. It's part of the game. Then maybe you should be here,
Listen, let's see. The first person to ever TKO me ever in my entire life was Cheesesteak. Anthony Cheesesteak. He got me with a liver shots. But Joe Lowry was the first person to ever really knock me out. Like he caught me with a head kick, landed face first in the ground. The moment I got up, I was like, what happened? They're like, oh, Joe caught you. I'm like, oh, with what? They're like, with a head kick. I said, okay, cool. I sat there, like, sit down. I'm like this.
The lights and the
I was like this. I said, all right, I'm ready. Joe, I'm going to knock you the fuck out now. They're like, no, what are you doing? And you got to sit down. I said, no, I got to get my revenge back. They're like, and he starts laughing. Like, that's what we do. This is what we do. It's not a revenge thing. I mean, it's more of a, you got one on me. Now I got to get that up on you now, too. Because you can't have that up. That's what makes us better.
But that's also competition. See, it's not just an ego thing. It's only an ego thing when you just really, you can't like you just like get stubborn, like, no, I gotta get him, and you just get too fucked up in your own head, like too, stubborn, too, like, throw a tantrum. If you just want to get him back and,
that's
smile,
not healthy. At that point, no, we've had people like that. You know what we do? We stop, you gotta go. You gotta go, calm down when you come back, because you're making this personal.
Situation. You just calm them down because too much stuff happens. People got too much ego. We had shit that happened in a fight one time. One of the guys beat the guy, and the guy got mad. He told him, I could shoot you. This and they're like, yo, you just fought a Muay Thai match. What the fuck you talking about? Like the guy was a sore loser, but he was just getting upset. Like, yo, the guy whooped your ass. Don't get mad now. The referee breaks it up to come out and fight you again, because what's gonna happen in the street? Oh, you gonna shoot him? No, I don't think so. He has his whole team here. And I was there too, so I'm like, ain't nothing gonna happen, man. Fuck out of here with that shooting shit or that bullshit. You lost. Take it as a man. Go back in the gym, get better, come back and everything. Call him out again for a rematch.
No, listen, if you lost, what you do is, as you're losing, you grab that mic, be like, yo, bitch, we gonna run this shit back. And you get the mic right back.
If you're in the UFC, can definitely do that. People have done it, and worse things have happened. People have got pissed off and shoved after the fight. I mean, Usually they're cool, they show respect, but sometimes they don't. And we like the respect part of this, but I mean, our street mentality kicks in, and if it happens, he happens. You know, sometimes you got to be like, yo, you know what? I'll get your back. You know, I mean, you know,
I mean,
you don't like the guy.
Tony Ferguson is like that. Tony, when he loses, he's going to want to get that win back. He's going to want to fight you again. I mean, for instance, actually look at UFC 263, Izzy Adesanya versus what's the Italian guy's name?
Mario Vittori.
Yes. Look what he did. What he lost to Izzy, right? What has he done since? He has been training and fighting people just to get back to Izzy.
Yeah, he wants to fight back badly. He already lost to Izzy.
Exactly. That is the healthy way to do it. That's the healthy way to do it.
Yeah.
That's how. That's healthy competition.
And so it is, bro. I mean, you know, because as a man, it's really hard. Can you imagine, bro, when a man beats you and he knocks you out, he took your soul. He stole 10 seconds of your time, and you'll never get it again because you're knocked out like on a canvas. That's just all it is. So you gotta think,
you know what's worse? I don't mind getting knocked out or choked out. You know what's worse? When the man beats the shit out of you for the entire round, lets you get back up and beats the shit out of you again, doesn't finish you, lets you get
move.
You know what that tells you? That person was way better than you. Now I'm so glad I haven't experienced that. I'm glad as hell. Almost all my losses is people put me against the cage and they hold me there because they don't want to get hit anymore. That's it. So I lost for not getting hurt.
Without getting hurt.
People holding me. They like Jorge said to Usman. All you did was just hold me against the cage. You didn't do shit.
You stomped on my feet the whole round.
You know what I'm saying? That's most of my losses is that. Most of my wins is but look at all my opponents. They all go to the hospital after we're done fighting. So who really won that fight? You or me? Because I ain't go to the hospital.
Bro. Most who really won that fight? After the fight's over.
The judges saw it that way because you played the smart. You played the points game. That's something I needed to learn as an amateur. Yo, this isn't a street fight. You're not supposed to destroy everyone you come up against. You gotta
pick them apart.
If you can destroy them, cool. But your job is to beat them in. It's a sport. This is not a fight. It's a sport.
You got to take the rounds, and you know.
Right. That's my job was to beat them. Like let's say I'm going up against someone that's a good striker, right? Even though I could be a better striker than him, why would I strike with you when I can grapple you? Why would I do that? And now I got you thinking of my grappling. So guess what? Now I'm going to utilize my striking, which now you're not going to utilize your striking because you're worried about my grappling, and vice versa. Whether they're a grappler, cool. I'm gonna strike with you, and then I'm gonna grapple with you. Why? Because now you're thinking of the strike. You have to do this, and know before you take a shot.
Right, you're not seeing a shot coming in, or whatever the case may be, right?
Right. And I guess you know what I mean. That's where you gotta utilize your footwork and your feints when you're doing stuff like that. If you don't have your footwork and your feints, man, it's not gonna be a good day for you. You just stand there and block, and you don't move your head. That's not gonna be a good night for you, man. You're gonna get picked apart real quick.
And guess what? Blocking is still getting hit basically. So I mean, if you can evade the sway techniques and move out the way, which is why again, entry, feints, how to set up a situation, a punch, a kick, a takedown, 1-2s, jabbing is important. People don't understand that. People think the jab is overrated. I'm like, nah, dude, more. The jab is underused. And
yes, it is.
You should use the most. You see how boxers pop the jab. Like I was watching Pacquiao fight Marquez recently on Pluto TV, it was a rerun, and also Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. Was it Thurman, right? Yeah. And yo,
yes.
He throws the jab like this. He
throws
he throws the jab. He throws the jab like he's smacking a tennis ball in the air with the back of the knuckle. That's how Pacquiao throws the jab like here. Like he throws it perfect. Like he throws it, he times it. He can hit you. He can power jab you. He can set you up. He can make you look up here, and then boom, this one. Like he's such a technician, man.
Yeah,
one of my favorite boxers, Manny Pacquiao.
Like when it comes to boxing, the people, I study. Like for instance, I told you like the fighters I look at for MMA, and for boxing, I look at Pacquiao, I look at Roy Jones, I study a lot of Roy Jones. I used to study Mike Tyson because I'm a short kid, I'm a short guy. Mike Tyson was fighting taller guys, and then heavyweight he was what 220,
5'11 and a half, 225.
Yeah, but weight wise he was 220, but he was shorter than everyone else. I'm short. Right, so I'm short. So of course I'm gonna study someone that's short and see what he does against a taller person. So that's why I feel comfortable fighting taller people.
Big in the body.
I feel more comfortable fighting taller people than I do people my height. Reason why is I'm just so used to it. But that's why I study Mike. I study Pacquiao. I study Roy Jones, and and now it's, you know, I studied Lomachenko just because of the footwork and all that stuff.
Well,
But now I study a lot of
Canelo.
Canelo a lot because I'm a pressure fighter. I'm a pressure fighter, and all these people are all pressure fighters. Like we have to realize
Andre Berto's good.
what type of fighter are you? Are you an evasive fighter? Are you a pressure fighter? Are you a pressure aggressive counter fighter? Like you have to know who you are in order for you to improve and elevate on what that is.
Understand yourself. That's true too. It's very true. A lot of fighters don't see it that way, or maybe they see it that way, but they really can't explain what they are. Like, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, like I'm kind of like a counter pressure fighter, but I'm also like, I like to pressure people, but also like more lately in my career, like maybe like in the last 5-6 years, I rely more on counters and also being like more evasive and kind of like not lead as much, because if you lead a lot, he catches you. But if you make him do something, so in other words, like Anderson Silva and Roy Jones, they will pressure their opponents to hit them, meaning they won't necessarily leading, but they'll do something, a little feint or throw a jab, make it seem, just trick the opponent that they're leading, but they weren't actually not leading. So the opponent leads, and then Silva or Roy Jones catch him slipping, boom, or Roy Jones with this. He would bend his waist, make it seem like he was closer to you, so you do all this, and then, you know,
right.
do this.
And the reason why is because they got their opponent's range and their opponent's rhythm. Once you have those two things, evading is super easy.
Yeah, the range, or what else to say? I didn't hear the last one.
And the rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm is right.
Like, listen, I explain this to my students all the time, especially in boxing. I'm like, when we're getting closer to like our Dutch drill days, I'm like, guys, remember, use your guard and your defense to catch your opponent's rhythm. I mean, and their range. I mean, that's the two most important things. I'm a shorter person. And I stand in the pocket with all of y'all and barely get hit. And the reason why is because I got your rhythm and your range. Once I got your rhythm and your range, it's about to be downhill for you unless you figure out mine. And I try not to let you figure out my rhythm because I mix my rhythm up all the time. I mean, once I do something, boop, I switch up my rhythm. All right, you see me back up and bounce away. Time to switch up the rhythm, and I go right back into it.
Switch your flow, bro. It's really similar to like, it's almost like a beat, like, you know, with music and with hip hop and all that. It's like how you say one thing different ways. You can punch, you can do the same type of drill, same technique, 3 or 4 different ways. And you should be doing that way. Even Mo told me a long time ago, like, yo, throw jab like here, throw it low, lunging up, fighting tall, because you gotta fight guy tall. Don't fight a shorter guy tall. I'm not gonna fight you. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fight you short. I'm taller. You gotta fight me short because you're shorter than me. I gotta fight you tall, or keep a certain, you know, range. But against a taller guy, you know, cut the angle more, come close to him, you know, smother his attacks. Don't kickbox or strike a tall dude with power who's got long legs and arms. You're gonna lose. I mean, you could be good, you could be better than him, and he's still gonna catch you more than he should catch you because he's got that reach. So be more methodical, be more strategic. Strategy is one thing people don't use a lot of tactics.
See, I mean, that's the job of the coach or the instructor to let the fighter or the student know what are they doing right and what are they doing wrong, and where do they need to improve. From here. That's the job of the coach.
Yeah,
the fighter's not gonna know. He's not looking at himself. He can't see himself. He's not gonna know what he's lacking at. That's the job of the coach. Now the job of the coach is to see what he does, study, you know, give him bits, pieces, and pointers, right? And then when the training is done, you have to sit down with him. If you recorded it, even better, right? I have to start doing it. I have to start recording shit. So that way I can go back and reference what I'm talking about sometimes.
I always record my shit, bro.
But that's where you pointed out, like you see right here, what should you have done here? First, I do this a lot with my fighters, right? And my teammates. I do this a lot. I'm like, yo, what should you have done here? I'll let them watch it and then I'll rewind. I'm like, yo, what should you have done here? And I'll listen to the answers. I'm like, okay. And if it's the answer that I was thinking of, cool. Sometimes they come up with a better answer that I was thinking of. But there's times where they don't know. They're like, I don't know, coach. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, what I see that you could have done here that would have made it better was blah, 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 blah. I went, so now we're going to focus on that for right now. We're not going to focus on anything else because you got getting caught with this. Now we're going to focus on it. Once we improve on that.
You know, on what you got it right. Focus on everything that you're lacking. Or even if you're not lacking, but you're getting caught too much, it's good to like you might be good on your left side blocking, slipping, can't hear, but you're still getting caught too much. And unless you have like a bad eye, you can't see, which is a whole different topic, and you shouldn't be getting that much. So some coaches will make you go like this, blindfold you want to make you react for eye and head coordination and movement. So that's why striking and boxing defensive things are so important to the MMA, bro. People don't realize how important boxing is.
Not only that, like for instance, like you also got to utilize how to use a weakness into a weapon. Like in one of my fights, I got first time ever, right? I was trying to be technical. Instead of me being what I always do and just go out there and do what I do best, I was trying to be technical, right? Because of me being technical, I got caught a few times. That's cool, whatever. My man cut my eye. But guess what I did? You thought that was a weakness? Hell no. I made that blood into a weapon. When I took his ass down, I used my blood to cover his goddamn face, and now he couldn't really see because he's doing this with my
You're
blood.
like this, put it on him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like this. I'm covering my. I'm purposely putting my blood in his eyes. Welcome to a street fight now. You made me bleed. Welcome to a street fight. You just made. You think this is good for you? No, this is a weapon for me, homie, because I'm the one on top. Now it's hard. And then he kept doing this because he couldn't see.
Right. He's trying to wipe his eye, but he's getting beat up the whole time. And if he can elbow and punch in the face, he can open a cut more, so he's getting better.
Sometimes folks gotta realize that a weakness ain't a weakness all the time. It could also be a weapon. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I would have never figured that out if it wasn't for me finding the streets all the time.
Right. Good point, man. That's good stuff, man. I think we covered a nice amount, bro. We're gonna see. So it's almost time to actually shut it down. But like I said, man, it was definitely a really good episode. And before we finish, I'm gonna let you finish up so we can do some shout outs and all that, whatever speak up on. But definitely a very productive episode. One of my personal favorites, but obviously you know why. I mean, again, the whole figure is not to be biased. I mean, if I talk about it, it's one thing, but we need a person like you that can express some, some knowledge and some facts, even, personal experiences from your own, you know what I mean? And opinions are cool, no, but we talked about, what we just said was nothing but facts. If the fight game is tough, guys, it's to be trained hard.
It's a fight game, baby. Control chaos.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Control the chaos.
Control chaos, man. Survival of the fittest. So, like Dana White said many years ago, do you want to be a fucking fighter? That's the question. You got to see. You got to really evaluate. You guys that fight, you watch the episodes and the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, but hope you learned something too, and you're a little enlightened. Me and Izzy again. We might be a little younger, but we've been martial artists for a while. We fought for a while. We trained in the past, and we're gonna train again soon. So we've been doing this game for a long time, guys. We've been fighters for a long time, and guess what? A bloody eye and a bust up nose or face, nothing. A cauliflower ear. Imagine getting feeling hurt inside, like you got beat the whole freaking fight. That sucks right there. Like a grown man made you cry or took your soul. Then kill him, but then you gotta wait another 4 months to fight him or whenever the opportunity presents itself. So trust me, these are beefs. These are really very tough and personal competitions. That's what I call it, a personal competition, not a beef. Some are beefs, but not all are beefs.
Hey, listen. Every time I step into the ring of the cage, my job is to kill my opponent. Right? If they ain't knocked out or TKO'd or submitted, I fail to do my job. And even if I win by decision, I go home disappointed every time because I couldn't finish my opponent. So that's how I see it when I get in
points, but I'll take the win. But I don't like the performance. But now I gotta do more. See, you gotta have that in you, bro. So
yep, you gotta have that killer in you. Like not everyone has that killer in you, but you gotta learn how to get it. Otherwise, it's gonna be
some fighters are more timid.
When your back's against the fence and you don't have that killer in you, you won't get finished, man. You won't get finished. So
yeah, bro. Yeah.
But yo, this was good, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. Appreciate the invite.
Any shout outs? Anything before we kind of
right. I want to give a shout out to all my teammates. Joe Lowry, Bobby Malcolm, Paul Sims, Tim Green. By the way, Tim Green is fighting the 2300 arena for CFFC May 28th. I believe there's still tickets. They are allowing tickets now, but it's by tables. So it's a table of 4, buy it, and it just sells divided by 4.
Like 50 bucks, right? The cheapest one are 50, right?
No. They're not doing it anymore. Now it's by tables. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go to a live event, I believe it's next Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday, May 28th. Tim Green, who's one of my students, as well as training partner, is going to be fighting. It'll be awesome, if everyone could go there and support him. There's going to be other fighters in there. Listen, whether they're my teammates or not, when Philadelphia fights, I support Philadelphia. When Eddie Alvarez went up against Conor, I was so heated because I felt like I was one of the only people in Philadelphia repping Philadelphia.
I feel on that one, bro. I'm glad you brought that up, man. Let's get all these fake fans out of here, yo, because Conor even said fuck Philly, basically.
Right. Yo, don't forget, you from Philly, you support and rep Philly. If y'all ain't doing that, get the fuck out of Philly, yo. Plain and simple. There are other people in here that are from other gyms, like Sean Brady, Algio, Paul Felder. But guess what? When they fight, I support them 100% because they from 215. Y'all better be from 215 too. You are from 215. If you ain't from 215, then I don't care. But if you were born and raised in Philly, you support a Philly fighter, whether they're a teammate or not.
But think a little more farther, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Even if I'm in UFC, bro, I'd rather not even fight a Philly fighter, especially because most of the time you train with them. But if it's gotta be that way. If the teammate, obviously, different story. But right. I can't really fight a Philly fight. I feel weird even hitting him because I gotta destroy my opponent.
I don't care. The same way I punch my brother in the mouth is the same way I punch my own damn teammate in the mouth.
Yeah, you know.
I don't care, but I'm different. That's how I was raised. I'm different.
All right, exactly. You know, but I mean, what I'm saying is this: that I'd rather fight a guy from Ireland or New York or anywhere else in Philly. But if it's got to be,
yes, that's true.
I'll fight my own, you know, teammates too. I mean, you know, sometimes he's got to be that way. But I mean, because it's a different sport. But yeah, you're right, bro. We got to represent Philly fighters. You know, everybody from Paul Felder to Eddie Alvarez to Sean Brady to you. I mean,
Frank Edgar. Frank Edgar, he might not be from Philly, but that's tri-state, baby. That's New Jersey. Yeah, that's tri-state. Anything from tri-state, I support.
You know, Pat Sabatini, all these guys. You know, my man Matt Smith, Bar Pierre. You know, again, you know, shout out to all these guys and some of my teammates. You know, from New World MMA to Crush Crew to Prime MMA Gym to your gym, to even the old Dadas. You know what I mean? You know, because we're cool guys, Brett Dadas, those guys. So, you know, big ups to everybody. We don't always do shout outs here, but we do it sometimes. You know, so we're gonna do it today, but. Definitely salute and big ups to all the guys. And again, guys, if you guys want to train, you heard it first. You know, my man got a spot to train. I got a spot.
Yeah, with that, North Star MMA, that's in the Germantown area. Just look it up on YouTube. I mean, on Google Maps or whatever iPhone. I don't care. Also, Beacon MMA, that's in Cherry Hill. Stop by, and then when you walk in, and just say Izzy told me to come through. That's all you gotta say. Just drop my name. They're gonna be like, all right, cool, and they'll hook you up. Trust me, on both spots and Royal Striking down in South Philly. You ever down in South Philly, go to Royal Strike and come inside, but like Izzy sent me here.
Royal Strike, right. For sure. Great season, you know, and same thing, you know, go out there, you know what I mean? You know, you get a lot of names. You have, you know, me, you know, Izzy, you know, George Mecha, of course. He says Steven Ushler, but it's really George Mecha, for those that don't know. I'm just using my friend's account, you know, his page right now. But so like I said, I mean, you know, if you go to Daniels, I mean, you know, again, I'm cool with the guy. There's Sadeko, you have Sean Brady that goes there, you have Pat Sabatini, our boy Luis Padilla who trained with us, you know, another fellow Philly Puerto Rican fighter, you know, good friend of ours. I mean, phenomenal athlete, amazing skills as well. So there's so many guys there. Just choose your time.
I mean, Miles Lee, one of my brothers, training partners, Miles Lee is in down with Gracie.
Yeah, Miles Lee. Yeah, Miles. Right. I know he is.
Yeah, you forgot. Yeah. I was talking to him before I was talking to you.
Tommy Zelensky, yeah. Connor Dixon. There's so many. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of guys on Facebook. I got to become better with names, and because it's like, yo, we're cool, and they know who I am because I post a lot, and sometimes we talk, but sometimes I don't know their name in their face, but you'd be like, yo, the guy such Justin. Oh, I know he is. Or PJ.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he trains around. He does Muay Thai. I know exactly who he is, you know. Yep. So
listen, there's been times where people have come in and they're like, yo, man, I really want to do kickboxing and all that stuff. What do you suggest? I always be like, yo, go to Rami Elite up in the Northeast. I'm like, that's the best kickboxing. That's the best Muay Thai kickboxing gym around. And you just want to do kickboxing. I'm like, trust me, there's like 4 or 5 people I sent over there, and they're doing great now. If you want to do just kickboxing, yo, Ramen Elite in Northeast is the best gym in my opinion.
Yeah, if you want to do
kickboxing, Muay Thai,
just kickboxing and Muay Thai, I would just say Rami's, bro. So you know, I was talking to him a little behind the scenes and everything, cool and all that. And again, I might be going there for some camps and might even go back to Muay Thai because it's kind of like some of our roots. But I mean, I see people there. Nobody leaves the place unhappy, man. It's just such a great place, man. I mean, the training is great. They crazy Muay Thai, good hands too that they work. Rami's also a pro boxer, so definitely your good hands in there, you know. And Daniels for MMA, it's like the mecca. All the good fighters go there. Like you could go there and you're in 2 other gyms and it's like
I've been, yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been there. It's like a melting pot. So I mean, you know, it's come on, it's phenomenal. Can't go wrong. But again, shout out to my boy Drew as well. Alcino watching, somebody's watching. My boy Rob, you know, of course, your people, my folks. And I also want to give a shout out to 2 friends of mine who, because usually would do is a shout out the previous week. Like you'll get a shout out next week because you came today. So shout out to my boy Maris Rafaeli and Thomas Vaughn, you know, for showing up last week and having a great podcast about sports and a draft, you know, the Sixers.
Gotcha. Yes, yeah, I don't know none of that shit. So shout out to you too, gentlemen, because I don't know shit but fighting.
So we know now. It's always to know, bro. Fighting's our thing, bro. I know a little about soccer, a little about football. That's about it. Fighting's my thing. So yeah, definitely.
Listen, I'll play the sports, but you ask me any names or any stats, I'll just look at you like I'm like, listen, I'm a dumbass, so don't even talk to me. I'll just be like this.
It's not that you're dumbass, but your stats are for fighting. You know, again, boxing and combat sports are your stats. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
MMA a little, you know. No doubt, bro, no doubt. But yeah, man, like I said, man, we follow sports. We play motorsport, which is why we're athletic, but we definitely follow the sports that we compete. Because I mean, if we watch a sport, we got to do it. We can't just watch and be fans. We're not. Me and you're not fans. We're competitors. We do this for real.
Right.
So,
this is a livelihood. You know what I'm saying? So
livelihood, man. But yo, guys, definitely come out there. You know, ladies and gents, you know, ladies too. You know, there's a lot of girls that train out there. We do a lot of girls self-defense as well. And if you learn, you get in good shape for fitness, and you learn some techniques, some styles. So check out the gyms that I just said. My friend just said. Crush Crew, you know, I mean, Royal Strike and all that, and, you know, New World MMA. So definitely hit us up, and, you know, and I look forward to having you another episode, bro. Maybe sometime in the summer, maybe right after your fight, or you might be taking a little leave, you said, because of the injury.
Yeah, I'll tell you, bro, I'm trying to heal from these injuries, man. Like, but yeah, for sure.
We could bring you in back. It was a good episode, man. I had fun, man. It was a pleasure, bro. Yeah. And I think it's kind of brings it about, you know, just about, you know, the end. But three last things I'll say. So always be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell, hit the like button. Like, subscribe, comment. Share some videos, and definitely you can always DM us, myself and Steve, who's not here today because of business reasons. But let us know what you want to hear. This was a very big episode because I had to do this just for a little for myself, a little for those that watch, and a lot of people that watch me do MMA, and you're one of them, of course, and you compete, so it made sense, and we got the deal, and thanks for coming in, bro. And it was great.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Just let me know.
Stuff, man. But we'll keep in touch, man. I'll let you know. And again, your next fight, and whenever it is, bro, I'm there to support you, and vice versa. We're gonna have fights, bro. Both of us want to train together a little for sure, because these guys ain't ready, bro.
For sure. Like we did last time. We did those years back. You know what I mean?
Man, we did a lot of times like that, bro. But we only put it on live stream one time, but it's gonna be great. We're gonna put it out there, and again, if you see us training, come through. You see, we're not like, oh, don't come. You kind of corner, you're a turkey, and we don't want you. We want you to be there if you belong there, if you feel like you could hang with us. And it's okay if you don't know much. Be humble, and me and Izzy will show you. It's not like we don't think we're better than nobody,
But
we never be like that.
That's what my job is, to pass my knowledge on to the other people, make them better than me. So that way, when they whipping my ass, it makes me better to make sure I whip their ass again.
Exactly. Be like, you whipping my ass, but don't forget we learned it from Young Hopper, and you're
exactly.
No doubt, man. No doubt. It sounds great, bro. All the good stuff, man. Everything, like I said. Well, we'll be right back. COVID didn't slow shit down. I repeat that. COVID, slow nothing down. We're still here. I was probably more all through all COVID, bro. Me and you were still talking through COVID, trying to set something up, and a year later, like I said, it's still going on, but things are reopening, and there'll be some times. Our time will come again, no doubt.
Yo, 125ers. What's up, homies?
Yeah, 125.
Once I heal up, I'm ready for y'all. I'm gonna knock y'all the fuck out.
There we go.
All right, just letting y'all know. Izzy MMA on Instagram, baby. Deuces.
Yo, guys, Izzy and Carcione, you don't want to fuck with this guy, man. 170 guys, be
they
aware.
They can fuck with me all they want. It don't matter. They're gonna respect me at the end of the day. So it don't matter. I'm just letting y'all know.
Even G-Show,
let me
right
heal
here.
up. I'm sitting down in this little goddamn throne, letting y'all know. I'm gonna fuck y'all all up.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't curse, my
ready
bad.
for you motherfuckers out there, Definitely be when you prepare, guys. Be ready because he's coming out to collect names, and he's done this before. So we both have done this, So 170 guys, beware. G-Money's coming back, and Izzy's in the building. So awesome, deuces. All right, bro. Well, it's been a pleasure, man. I will talk to you soon. Stay in touch, and like I said, man, check us out on Spotify. Tomorrow will be on Spotify, and obviously it's already live as we went in. So definitely, let me know what you think, and we'll do it again, bro. We'll stay in touch. So.